diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. Jack, we Ric Flairing on them niggas. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing. Not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops, then find to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My ground repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, sun up, baby.
Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty, and I'm back in the building with another banger. Okay, it's the Afterglow show with my man KOFI HEMMINGWAY. But before I get into that, please listen. I got 114 people on here. If you do not like commercial breaks, all right, please just like the stream. Okay, like if you a day one, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, just like the stream, so I don't have to like police on my show to talk about why they not liking it. Get the likes up, okay? So just do that, man. Just do that for me, okay? For me and for the show. Like, you know, come on, man. It's not that hard. Just hit the thumbs up button. All right, so we got that. Also, podcast. Make sure you go to Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast. Leave a review. If you hate me, leave a review. If you love me, leave a review. All right, like with words, okay? Like, I can't stand his hating ass. Okay, I'm cool with that. All right, leave it. Hey, I love his hating ass. That's cool with me too. Either way, leave a review, okay? That's all I'm saying. In the off-script membership, as always, please join, support, you know what I'm saying? As everybody who's a hater likes to say, I'm broke and soliciting you guys for money, so hey, I'm going to keep doing it, okay? So keep soliciting. That's what I do. All right, so listen, please listen. I know y'all been waiting for this. I know y'all been waiting for this show. Y'all been getting it. Y'all been waiting. All right. You know I had to bring them back. I always got to bring them back. Mondays, 7:30. You already know what it is. Mr. Bo, strike again. Give it up for my man, KOFI HEMMINGWAY. Let's go. What's up, Kof?
I'm still throwing up the snake, bro.
Yeah. Because y'all was at home. That's what you was doing. Home. Home. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Home.
What's going on? How was your weekend?
It was wonderful, man. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Good stuff. Family, travel, all kinds of stuff. Watch the game, watch some of the playoffs, watched all that stuff, man. It was good stuff.
Awesome.
Watch my Dolphins win their 6-1 in a row.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Dolphins. All right, listen. We gonna get right into it. The celebration. But KOFI, before I get, just hold on for a minute, right? I gotta give them a quick recap of why they watch us. Okay, because listen, a lot of people are these, like my girl said, there's a lot of new subscribers, we got a lot of new eyes, right? So I gotta play a couple videos, so I want them to understand why they watch us. All right, so here we go.
Right.
One up.
Buddy Pugh has been around this thing a long time. He has coached a lot of football games.
We wearing the same stuff too.
I've seen his teams play constantly. Alabama A&M went out there and destroyed them in the spring because they were shorthanded. They came back in the fall. They only lost by 1 point. My point to you is Jackson State, hands down, I believe, has the better team. But sometimes the better team doesn't always win.
That's fair.
And this is why you played the game. Please understand, Buddy Pugh knows what he's doing. His special teams units are stellar. Their kickoff units are stellar. They're not going to kick to your punt returner that's going to run back touchdowns. They're not kicking to him. Buddy Pugh's not dumb. And a traditional South Carolina State, a good South Carolina State team will run the ball. This year they are throwing the ball a whole lot more, but I think he understands what they need to do to win the game. Their defense is known for causing turnovers. So please don't go in there and think, because, they played against one of the top QBs, two of the top QBs, the Howard QB and Norfolk State, and they played them pretty well. They played the guy at Cookman, and they shut the score was like 42-6 before Cookman mounted like a comeback off of second and third team people that were in there. Do not underestimate South Carolina State University and their football. They have a ton of tradition. They've sent a lot of people to the pros. They're going to be fired up, and it's nothing to fire up a team more than it's us against the world. Nobody believes in us. Y'all said that we were going to lose. Y'all said that we suck. Now we're going to bust you in the mouth. Please don't underestimate South Carolina State.
That's what my man said. We got the same outfits. We in the alternate universe where South Carolina State wins.
Get up on the Bulldogs. Everybody get up for the Bulldogs. Everybody get up, get up.
Oh man, listen. Hey, also, because listen, I said why y'all watch us, right? Why y'all watch us?
Listen.
Let me throw a little curveball in there. It's history in the making today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my score on the round table, all right? Because I don't really care about doing this on Friday picks. Anyway, so I listen, I've had a bad feeling about this game all week. I don't know why. I've had a bad feeling about this game all week. I'm gonna go 17-10 South Carolina State. Yeah, I'm going.
Oh,
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go 17-10. I'm gonna go 17-10. Listen, and y'all can say I'm crazy, you know what I'm saying? But there's been crazier upsets. There's been crazier upsets. Everybody thought Georgia was supposed to be Alabama. They lost that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought the Patriots were supposed to lose to the Rams, the greatest show on turf. They lost that. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody thought Valley was gonna go last, and y'all lost that. All right, so 17. I might go like I'm gonna go 17-13 South Carolina State. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna miss that field goal.
Yeah,
gonna miss that extra point.
Yeah, because listen, and this is my mindset. If I would have picked Jackson State, everybody would be like, Scotty, you're supposed to pick Jackson State. Like, but I really have had a bad feeling about this game all week. So if South Carolina wins, I look like a freaking freaking genius. That's what I look like. I look like a freaking genius.
Genius.
Respect my GOAT status.
Come on, genius. Come through, genius.
Respect my GOAT status. That's why you watch this freaking show, because you get the insight. Come on, man. Stop playing with us, man. All right. 31. Oh, that's the wrong score. 31.
That wasn't it.
That definitely was not it. They lost by 21. 31-10. They lost by 21. Oh, South Carolina State, Jackson State. Kofi, you pop it off. How big was this upset?
It was big and monumental in the eyes of the people, but for me, Jackson State has been flirting with an L for a long time. And they just ran into a team that was prepared and didn't give them the game, a.k.a. Prairie View, a.k.a. FAMU, a.k.a. Southern University. They didn't hand them the game on a silver platter. So it was big because I think people forgot just how good a coach Buddy Pugh really is. Like, he understands how to play the game and how to win. And I think that was good for him to be on that stage so that people could see their program elevated. Plus, it's going to be good for the school, good for the program. It's going to elevate them. And I think that it will kill all that talk about the MEAC is done, XYZ, you know. I mean, it was huge. I mean, you had Prime and all of his glory riding out on his three-wheeler, you know, at the beginning of the game with his shades on, you know, just giving all this superstardom and stuff. And South Carolina State was just quietly intense, waiting on that moment, and they bust them in the mouth. I mean, it was huge, bro. But if you watch the game, it really wasn't no upset. I mean, they was throwing Jackson State players all over the field, bro. I mean, like throwing them, like not a couple of feet, like about 10, 12 feet.
Something's wrong with you.
I'm sorry.
Something is wrong with you. Something is so wrong with you.
The dude with the dress picked that dude up, man. He just threw it. I mean,
oh man,
threw that man about 50 feet, man. I was like, this is not happening.
It's happening. Oh, it's happening. Oh, it's happening all day, every day. Now listen, For me, I was at the game. Were you at the game? Did you go to the game? KOFI, did you go?
No, I wasn't at the game. I was watching.
So for me, I could see the chippiness, right? Like it was super, super chippy. The one thing I gotta say before we get started, shout out to them refs, man. Them AAC refs, let them boys play. I know for a fact if it was a SWAC called game, flags would have been thrown every freaking where. All right. Shout out to them. But I think it was a huge upset. But what goes back, it goes back to a point that I'm gonna give credit to Perry White, the Southern guy. He always used to say, he would say to me, Scotty, why does the SWAC need high level coaching when we can't even beat no-name coaches? He said, because the no-name coaches are getting recruits. The no-name coaches are getting players. The no-name coaches are beating us. Why do we have to go get celebrity coaches when no-name coaches are beating us all willy-nilly? And Buddy Pugh proved what his point was, is that, listen, I'm on the bandwagon for celebrity coaches, but there is no substitute for a guy who just coaches, who's about football and is about coaching. So how big was this upset? Absolutely humongous. You got an all Madden team on Jackson State side, and they literally went up against a hard-nosed team that was coached outstandingly. I don't even know that's a word. Outstandingly, whatever.
We understand what you're saying. That's all we got to do. I understand where you're coming from.
That's and I feel you. So you meet talent with coaching, and that's what happens. A slacking of straight up slacking.
There is no substitute. There's no substitute for knowing what you're doing. Now, let me say this, okay? Deion Sanders is a great coach. I think he's a good, solid coach. I saw the difference in their team, even in the spring, even with the losses that they took, different things that were going on. But there were moments, I mean, Odoms came in there when they played Southern University and just completely outcoached them. I think he learned. And he's a student of the game. Just Buddy Pugh has been around football for a long time, a very long time. He understands the game. And, you know, your stars don't really mean a whole lot. And that was another thing. You know, I think that Deion is definitely a good fit for Jackson State. I think that he's good for HBCU football. I think that they'll rebound from this in a big way. But they had to take that L on Saturday. I'm sorry. Just, you know, they weren't dialed in. I think that they just out-physicaled Jackson State, which is another thing, you know, just going forward. Once we get a little bit deeper in the show, I'll share some more thoughts on a lot of this stuff. But, you know, stars don't play no games. I can call in a star to a couple of these recruiting sites. It doesn't mean that the person is actually a 3-star or a 4-star player. It just means that they're taking another person's recommendation on the star. It's not necessarily legit. For instance, Tyreek, who plays for the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill didn't even have any stars. No stars. And he's Mahomes' top target. You know, he's an all-pro. So you don't need stars to be legit. It does sell some tickets. It does get people's eyes on your program, but it doesn't mean a whole lot when it comes to getting down there on that field.
That's what's up. Let me get to a couple comments real quick. Good thing Bama State didn't make a panic hire like you guys wanted celebrity coaches, bro. You got a real estate agent. Shut the hell up. You got a real estate agent, bro. Shut the hell up. Come talk to us when we talking home loans. When we talking football, don't talk. When we talking home loans, come back in here. What are you talking about?
Just people. Now, I don't want to prejudge my man because he still might turn out to be X, Y, and Z. He is unproven. You had proven head coaches that were coming for that job.
I said what I said.
Proven head coaches that were coming for that job, and y'all took the political route. So we'll just have to see.
I said what I said.
Whatever.
Did South? Oh, hold on. Before I answer this question, anybody I'm not calling Buddy Pugh a no-name coach, right? I'm saying in general, like he said the stats of not talking about because y'all Bama is so damn sensitive. I'm never called Buddy Pugh a no-name coach. What I'm saying is that no-name coaches. Name the coach in the Southland. Name a coach from the Southland, okay? And they murdered FAMU. That's what I'm talking about. No name coaches. That's my point. All right. So all you sensitive ass guys, shut up. I'm not talking about Buddy Pugh. We already know Buddy Pugh's a legend. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general. All right. So thank you. Moving on. Did South Carolina State win it or did Jackson State lose it?
South Carolina State made Jackson State lose it, so South Carolina State won it. They forced the turnover right before the half. That fumble into the touchdown flipped the script on the game. It shifted the momentum in a big way. The physical nature of South Carolina State's defense with their schemes and how they D'd up Shadur, you know, he was making wrong reads. They were blocking his arm during the throw. You know, they were just always in the right place. South Carolina State knew where Jackson State was going to be trying to go with the ball, knew Shadur's every move. South Carolina State won this game.
This is what I agree with. I don't agree with this guy very often, but I agree with him today. JSU lost the second half. South Carolina State won the second half. All right. So that's my if Jackson State would have done everything they were supposed to do in the first half, they win this game, in my personal opinion, because they should have been up 21-0. So I know that's kind of like, I know that's in between, because you could say South Carolina State did what they had to do to win the game. But I honestly feel Jackson State lost it in the first half. South Carolina State won it in the second half. That's my personal opinion.
Jackson State definitely had their opportunities. But again, Jackson State didn't have a running game the entire year. Like, what is the leading rusher for Jackson State? How many yards does he have?
I don't. Who cares? It's probably like 300 yards or something like that. It probably ain't no.
I mean, they don't have a running game. And against South Carolina State, that's not the way you want to play. It's just not. I mean, I saw their team. You know, he's seen so many different exotic passing offenses, even from the Rack Boys and FAMU to Appalachian State when they had beaten the University of Michigan. They held those guys to like 14 points. And South Carolina State was within a field goal of winning that freaking game. You know, he's seen it all. So Shadur in that deep pass offense and Jackson State with the stuff that they try to do scheme-wise, you know, it just wasn't a good matchup. I mean, they had a 4th down and 1, and they didn't make it.
Yeah, this is my thing, man. I can't stop. Listen, bro. Like, everybody has deficiencies on their team.
Absolutely.
You coach around the deficiency. That's what makes you a great coach. If I know I can't do a certain thing, I coach it appropriately so it doesn't affect my team as much. If I choose to drop back over 30 times, that means I'm trusting my O-line to do something that I think they can do, and then they did not do it. So miss me with the O-line is trash part. If you know your O-line is trash, you do things that help prevent your O-line from getting exposed. God, stop saying the freaking obvious, man. Y'all just come in here and just be talking. Just be talking. All right. Next question. Where do you put Buddy Pugh after this one? He's already a legend. All right. But where do you rank him in top coaches in the SWAC, HBCU history? How do you rank him?
He's definitely top 10. He's definitely top 10. He's not to the quote unquote Gaither merit level. But I think that I would elevate him above Marino Kasem. I would put him above Marino Kasem. And the reason, or right around, he's kind of like that, but I think with a couple of more national titles, I think you can definitely elevate him definitely to that level. Buddy Pugh has conference titles, has playoffs, you know, just right now I can't see. The thing is, like, I've seen him take L's to Joe Taylor. I've seen him take L's to Coach Simmons. I've seen him take L's to A&T, and he hadn't beaten A&T as of yet lately. So he's got to get over that A&T hump for me to elevate his status just a little bit more. But A&T has kind of like had his number lately. He's lost the last 2 to FAMU. But when it comes to preparation, Buddy Pugh's tough to beat. And the good thing is South Carolina State's whole team is just about like returning. So they're going to be super strong next year and probably going to be right back into the Celebration Bowl because Norfolk State is losing their QB. And Howard is not quite ready to make that leap just yet to challenge Buddy Pugh and this experienced team. So I'm looking for South Carolina State to be right back into the Celebration Bowl next year.
Yeah, I've talked to CFL, and he talks about how much talent South Carolina State has coming in next year, and their team being so young that he sees them coming back and coming right back to the Celebration Bowl again, because I believe Kendall Flowers is either a freshman, Shaq is a sophomore, Corey Fields is a sophomore. Like, you're bringing them back a lot of players that are I think the whole front line is like freshmen, like right. You know, starting 4 of the line. I mean, that's ridiculous. So literally, it's just you're retooling and just adding more talent to what was already been enough, and it's going to be a monster. And here we go right here. They have a 2-headed horse at running back coming. It's crazy. Just more and more talent. Let me get to this, right? Is the MEAC coaching better than the SWAC? And if so, why? Because why can't they get over the hump? You're talking about a 5-1. The last time they won was with Devontae Kincaid. You know, what are we doing?
I can't necessarily say that overall, just simply because Buddy Pugh was 1-2 against the SWAC during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, FAMU beat them. A&M won the last 2. And the SWAC, I mean, Dancy beat North Carolina Central. You know, it's right now. I think this Jackson State was overconfident coming into the game. They had a lot of distractions coming into this week that's dealing with the whole #1 recruit in the country stuff. Deion's out doing interviews, putting out fires instead of preparing his team. You're doing all these interviews. Prepare your team. Get your team ready to play. Y'all know rap songs. Y'all know how to block. I mean, they got the whole team like it was a darn circus in the little dinner room. What do they call it? The luncheon.
Yeah.
You know, South Carolina State's guys just sitting there like, okay, all right, yeah, I mean, you quoting the whole rap song, you're not even prepared to play the game. Your blocking schemes are nonsense when it comes to the rushing scheme that South Carolina State put on those boys, man. They weren't ready, bro. They weren't ready.
Now
they were not prepared, but they knew that rap song though.
Man, you're just flowing it. Is Deion just a recruiter and not a coach?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
He's an excellent coach and he's an excellent recruiter. He's just got to take this L. And every good coach from time to time takes an L. I mean, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid kicked the crap out of him, I think, on a Monday Night Football game, bust 50 points on him. Mm-hmm. But they came back later on that year and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Deion understands that talent. Deion understands that talent, that your Jimmys and Joes matter just as much as your X's and O's. I think that there's still much to learn when it comes to football. It's an ongoing learning process when it comes to football. And the good thing about Deion is that he's willing to learn. And as long as he stays in that vein, he's going to be an amazing coach. He knows he doesn't know everything. I think Buddy Pugh showed him that he doesn't know everything. I think that Terry Bowden showed him that he doesn't know everything. There's a lot to learn. Even if you've been around the block, seen all this film, there's still elements of the game that he has to learn and grow into, and he's going to grow into it. So Deion's definitely a great coach. I wouldn't doubt him one bit. I think that it's going to cause the SWAC to elevate their level straight up.
I think my issue is this, right? It's what Deion says for me that kind of bothers me. right? Because he always says something like, anytime he loses, he always says, "We know the problem. I'm fixing it. I'm adjusting it." Because it's just like he's going to bring in more talent. That's what it feels like he's doing. Like, I'm just going to bring in more talent. You know, I'm going to recruit more stars.
I agree with that. I did not like his statement after the game. He kind of put it on the team. I didn't hear him say, "I didn't prepare my team to win. I didn't do a good enough job to make sure that my guys were ready." You saw it in their eyes that they wasn't ready. That's what you said. Why didn't you prepare those boys? Because y'all thought that y'all was better. You thought that you didn't need to do certain things to prepare to win. So they went out there unprepared and they got their ass whooped.
But if we're being honest, that's been his MO. Anytime he's been getting his butt whooping, it hasn't been very often this year, but back in the spring, that was his point. That was his MO the whole time. When he lost to Grambling in the first half, he would say, "Oh, we're making simple calls. Kids can't do this. Kids can't do that."
I think that's a mistake, and I think that he's going to learn from that. As long as people like yourself and other media people hold him accountable to that, and I think that they should, because you're raising young men to take ownership of the issue. If a kid shows out and they're in your care, or they're not doing, or they're acting out of character, it's on the parent or the person that's in charge. He just has to grow into that. Nobody likes to lose. The same thing even with Urban Meyer. I think Urban Meyer's a great coach. He just, can't take losing very well. Doesn't like to lose, and I think that's what makes him a winner. But ultimately, it's the coach's responsibility to make sure that his players are in position to have good success and to be prepared and to represent the brand of football that people think that they should represent at this time.
I think it was funny because this was very shocking to me when I did my post-game show. I had a few people call in, had a few comments that Shedeur should have been benched. No, but listen, I'm gonna give you two folds to it. Some people said he should have been taken out the game. Some people for the whole game after halftime, and some people said he should have been sat out. He should have been taken out to see the field, to see what they were doing, coach them up, put them back in there, and then let them work. And my thing is this: when the offense of the other team has the ball, what are you doing at that? Like, that's when you're supposed to be getting coached up. Why I gotta take you out the game to coach you up? That don't make no sense to me. Why do you think Tom Brady be looking at the tablets when he ain't got the ball?
It's a sign that you were unprepared. I'm going to put it like that. Now, Shedeur was under a whole lot of pressure. He's running to the left, running to the right. The ball got knocked out by South Carolina State defenders who were in the backfield. That's not a Shedeur mistake. No quarterback, from Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers to whoever's back there, is going to be as effective if they're constantly under pressure and constantly getting hit. It's a personnel issue that they're going to eventually have to address if they're looking to go to the next level, because football ultimately is won in the trenches.
All right. And this is the last question. We're going to move over. Hold on. Let me get this together. All right. Rumor is the play caller changed for the championship game, right? So where the rumor has it that, and listen, it's not really a rumor. I'm just calling it a rumor because I've heard from a very reliable source. All right. Very reliable. That the play caller was changed. The players did not like it. And Michael Pollock called the plays in the national championship game. What is your take on that? As well as, TC, because technically everybody's saying that TC Taylor is going to be named the PV head coach. Who knows, whatever. But I want to focus on the rumor is the play caller was changed for the national championship game. Michael Pollock called the plays. How do you feel about that? And we'll move
Wouldn't
on.
have mattered. Didn't make that much of a difference. It was the same stuff that Jackson State has been doing the entire year. They didn't change up like that. I could see it if Jackson State came out there and was running wishbone, running option, doing a bunch of RPOs. The offense did not change. They did the same thing. South Carolina State adjusted. They didn't continue to make adjustments during the game, which is what good coaches do. And they paid the price. It didn't matter who was calling the plays. The scheme that they were in, the blocking scheme that they had, was not conducive to be in position to stop South Carolina State's defense from being as aggressive as the game went. And as the game went on, South Carolina State's defense got more and more exotic, more and more aggressive, and that was really the difference in the game.
All righty, moving on. Let's see what we got here. NCAA, FCS, HBCU rankings. Let me get this pulled up for all the people in attendance. All right. So this is in the link that I shared in the description below. All right. Now, number 3 is Jackson State from the FCS HBCU rankings. The NCAA said after going undefeated against all FCS opponents entering the Celebration Bowl, Jackson State suffered its first loss in 3 months in the season. Despite the loss, the Tigers, led by the Eddie Robinson Award winner, Coach Prom Sanders, Jerry Rice Award winner, Shedeur Sanders, and the top defense of the FCS, accomplished a lot this season, throwing the groundbreaking work on the recruiting trail, and Jackson State's future remains bright. They came in at number 3. Number 2, South Carolina State. The 2021 South Carolina State Bulldogs made history, bringing the first Celebration Bowl championship trophy back to Orangeburg. The Bulldogs pulled off the upset of the year, routing SWAC champion Jackson State. And the number 1 team in the FCS HBCU rankings is Florida A&M. After much debate, Florida A&M gets the top spot in the final power rankings of the season. The Rattlers finished the season with a loss in the FCS playoffs after winning 8 straight games to get there. Florida A&M played well against the other 2 teams in consideration for the top spot, Jackson State and South Carolina State. The Rattlers lost by just 1 point to Jackson State, blew out South Carolina State by 23 points, leading 27 through 3 quarters. It was a close call, but Florida A&M takes it in the season-ending power rankings. Mr. Rattler, please give me your opinion. Who should be the Black National Champions?
Ooh-wee. It's a doozy just because, I'm a Rattler, right? So, all right. So, in my heart of hearts, I do believe that if FAMU played Jackson State again, FAMU would kick them to sleep, straight up. We had our chance in September. We didn't get the job done. And, you can only go. So, right now, I believe that FAMU is the best team. I believe that FAMU should be, just based off of this. If you're doing it, just poll. Anybody can name a national title. Like, there's going to be another poll that's going to probably name Jackson State the number 1 team because of the body of work. Then another poll that doesn't like FAMU or doesn't like Jackson State is going to put South Carolina State number 1 because they won the game. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to say is the system is screwed up and it's flawed, straight up. It's a non-de facto, it's a mythical champion, which means that you can make up a champion really from anywhere, with any media outlet. Like if our script says, hey, we got a top 10, I'm going to tell you my national champion. It would be a national title for whoever you name. The off-script Division I national title is who? Boom. Whoever you name is going to be that national champion. It's not something that we made up or necessarily we asked for. This is a guy that had been watching. So if that's what he says, hey, FAMU is going to claim it. We love to troll. We love to talk trash. We love to give it to the kids and remind South Carolina State, we had y'all down like 27-0, and it had not been for the darn referees and our raggedy penalty making ability, that game would have been a shutout. So, it is what it is at this point. Jackson State should have handled their business. They win the game. We're not even having this darn discussion. But since they lost, and even if I would say, go so far as to say, if Jackson State had lost maybe by like 3 or a last second Hail Mary pass, something like that, I'd have been like, well, Jackson State, South Carolina State got They got mollywop, bro. They got mollywop. I mean, they players was just getting thrown all over them.
Oh man. Something wrong with you.
I mean, the dude with no helmet just picked the little boy up. And just... then they had a dude get on the kickoff return. He got clothesline, man, just yanked. I mean, just
that was
almost
bad.
yanked out of his uniform, man. I'm sitting up there like, bruh. What was y'all watching?
Something wrong with you. Oh boy.
They killed the boys, man. They gave them a good old country backwood fish and grits beat down straight up. Sorry, guys. I had to. I'm sorry.
Something wrong with you. But all right, so this is for me, the black national champions. And listen, oh man, what's tough is it kind of contradicts my opinion on, because it's always about styles make fights. You know what I'm saying? So they're pretty much saying, since FAMU demolished South Carolina State the way they did, they lost to Jackson State by 1. I have no choice but to put them ahead of the team because of the sheer level of how it went down. Like you said,
yeah, I mean, fam, you wouldn't even be in the darn conversation if Jackson State had just handled their business, right? We'd have been like, hey, you beat us. You beat us. You beat South Carolina State. No discussion. Y'all deserve it. But to get beat and then get beat the way that they got beat, it was just like, man, like this, because Jackson State was sitting up there. I mean, just all year long, you had people that was like, if we would have gone to Southeast Louisiana, we would have beat that team down, boy, Houston and all that.
Facts.
Y'all, Jackson State got beat by a team that we beat. Not only beat by a team that we beat, they got destroyed by a team that we beat. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Y'all got to do better than that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the logic for me is just it. Let me ask you, the logic for me is kind of skewed because I like I always say, styles make fights. Because think about it, what Jackson State did to Alabama A&M was so personal that they never repeated that feat again. They never played that perfect ever again. And I think South Carolina State was in that same boat. They were feeling like, yo, the disrespect that we getting, we like, nah. So that's why everything was so personal that they were all locked into the mission. So I just think it was a wrong time, wrong place for Jackson State. And they got their butt whooped. Now, how do you feel that going forward, how does this get resolved? In what way does this get resolved?
There has to be ultimately a meeting of the minds. The solution is you have to come together and say, is this system in our best interest? Are we getting the best possible team? And review it. Put it under review. Is this going to give us our best possible matchups? Or from a monetary standpoint, which is what the MEAC and the SWAC really are all about, is this giving us the best possible matchups? Is this going to give us the opportunity to make the most money? Now, the thing that this is why the system is just straight up flawed, right? You've got A&T, Hampton, and Tennessee State, which are HBCUs, who are not even a part of the Celebration Bowl format. So if they go 9-2 and win a couple of rounds in the playoffs, or they go 9-2, 10-1, 11-0. So we're going to just automatically say that the Celebration Bowl winner is the national champion when A&T is undefeated, or Hampton is undefeated, and Tennessee State is undefeated. It's not fair. It's not right. You can't say that. Now, FAMU, of course, can say that for North Carolina A&T because we beat them the last 2 times. But I'm just saying, I just want to put that out there for the Aggie Nation that's watching this particular broadcast. But is flawed. So the way that we straighten it out is to have a meeting of the minds and to come up with the best possible scenario that's going to create a win-win scenario for all of HBCU football. There are those that say, okay, we want to include the SIAC and the CIAA. You can't right now because they're not on the same level playing field. They don't have as many scholarships as the MEAC and the SWAC. So until we're all on the same level playing field with the same amount of resources, they're not even a part of the discussion. No way Bowie State beats Jackson State, beats FAMU, beats South. They're not going to do it. They lost to Delaware State, for God's sake. Give me a break. You know, Bowie State is not, they're in their division. Now, in their division, they should be the #1 team. But as far as FCS, they can't. They lost to Delaware State. Put that under perspective. They're not ready. They don't have the resources. They don't even have a full amount of scholarships for their team, which is why I would have personally hired Mr. DuBose to be my coach, because they do an amazing job of developing talent and get those players to play on one accord. But, you know, you have to have that discussion if you're going to be ready to go forward.
We'll see. I mean, I've been saying it from the jump. I feel like the Celebration Bowl should be a playoff system, but of course, nobody, you know, cares.
It should be a playoff system. I think it'll be a great moneymaker. You make a classic environment out of it, or you can do whoever the higher ranked team is, do a host a home game. You know, it creates money because our people travel. Now, the issue is a lot of this stuff takes place around the holiday season, where a lot of our players, of course, a lot of our fans are traveling to see family, to eat macaroni cheese, oxtail, and all that other stuff. So a lot of that would get rearranged and a lot of that would get changed. But, you know, I think if people understand what it is, I think it'll grow into something big. And then you're able to devise a champion or to get a champion that will be won on the field. But you have to have it at such a level that A&T, Hampton, Tennessee State, all those guys would be willing to be a part of it if it means that much to them. You know, if they want to go that route, I think it would be excellent from a monetary standpoint. But in order to gain additional credibility, I got to say this aspect of it. Our HBCUs have to schedule other PWIs during the regular season. We got to beat these people.
Facts. Big facts. Let's go to the next one real quick. Hey, we got a couple more questions and then we're going to open the call lines. All right. Couple more questions. We on the call lines. The hot recruiting. And listen, the SWAC is hot. The SWAC is hot in the recruiting area. How would you grade the recruiting of the teams? You know, who do you have first? Who do you have second? Who do you have third? Like, what are we doing? How are you seeing it?
Let's call out a team and then I'll give you the grade.
Alabama State.
C. You wanted me to give them an F. I was about to give them an F. I was about to give them an F, but I can't. I saw they signed somebody.
Bethune.
So the mere fact that they were able to sign somebody as he's putting that staff together, I think is a good job. I'm going to have to wait till February 2nd to give them a full review, but at least they got somebody.
Mid-grade review. That's what we call it, the mid-grade review. That's what we call it.
Mid-grade, yeah.
Bethune.
I'm going to give them a B.
Really?
I'm going to give them a B.
Oh.
They got a QB that's going to come in and be able to contribute immediately. And they signed a couple of other signees that I think will be able to help their team. But not necessarily because the wide receiver, I believe, is coming back. Number one.
Kamari Everett.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so I went Alabama State. I went Bethune. Let's go Texas Southern.
I'm gonna give them a solid B.
Okay.
They're trending in the right direction with their players. They're getting people, of course, that I believe are going to help their squad win. You know, and everybody's kind of like going. The thing that I'm not seeing enough of is filling in those holes. Now they have the QB, they have the skill people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my thing is from a personnel standpoint, what's going to enhance their level of physicality? That's what's keeping me from giving them that A just yet.
Okay. CFL asked the question, Who does he think gets the 5-star running back from the 23 class if it was between FAMU and JSU?
I mean, it is between FAMU and JSU. If JSU wants to get in there, I don't know. It depends, and a lot of this just really depends on what the child wants. You know, some people are enamored by personality, and they're enamored by Deion's star quality. I think that Deion has an excellent pitch to these players. I mean, who wouldn't want to play for a Deion? But Willie Simmons and his staff have a lot of history and a lot of connections. So it's just a matter of culture and feel. And hey, if they want to be a part of the #1 HBCU and get an educational experience, I think it comes down to FAMU.
Too easy. All right, Valley.
You have to give Dancy an A. Straight up, he's getting people to come to Ida Beta, or whatever, Mississippi, to play football on that field that hadn't been repaired yet. So, you know, just the mere fact that he's getting players to commit tells me that he's selling vision, that he's selling his program, and the kids are in agreement with him. Like, they are believing what he's selling because they want to be a part of it. And these people are coming from better quality facilities than what Mississippi Valley has, which means that he is making a connection with those players and he's getting them to commit. And they're another team that has a whole bunch of people returning.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in there, bro. They're not going to just lay down. So
they definitely going to be special. Southern. How do you feel about Southern? They just dropped their list.
Yeah. I would give them a C+, based off of the time that they've been able to really get in there and probably do it. You know, Dooley's been recruiting. He just kind of was halftime in recruiting for Prairie View and halftime recruiting for Southern. When he made the transition, he was able to stay in contact with the players that I believe he really wanted, knowing what he was going to do. So I would give them a C+. I think that could actually grow depending on, I want to say, the positional needs. Now, they're another team that has, I would say, a high degree of skill level that's already on the team. Like, they're not deficient. They're not talent deficient. The thing is, right now, what spaces are they filling for their squad? And, you know, for me, I think Southern needs to get stronger up front, and they need to get faster outside, and they need a more consistent QB. I think they haven't made that splash necessarily yet.
They just got a kid from Atlanta. Dang, somebody post his name in the comments. But they just got a bad boy from Atlanta. I'm talking about bad. So yeah, they're gonna. He's a freshman, so I don't know if he's gonna start, but he definitely has a lot of potential.
Yeah, Southern University is not the only school that has an HBCU that has an indoor practice facility. Tennessee State has an indoor practice facility. So, and FAMU's getting one. So it's just a matter of time. But congratulations on Southern and their vision and their capital campaign. I think that it's needed, and I would like to see HBCUs across the board get a capital campaign. I think it's necessary. It's time for us to step up.
That's what's up. UAPB.
Next.
Alcorn State.
I give them a solid B.
Okay.
I give them a solid B. They got the kid from Syracuse. That's a good solid running back. But I don't see the help up front. Like, who's blocking for these people? You know, they got the skill. They had the skill last year. They had a kid, what was it, from Texas or somebody like that, that transferred in. But to beat a Jackson State, to beat a Southern University, or even to beat Prairie View consistently, or Grambling coming forward, you're going to have to get help up front.
Hold up. Did that really just happen?
What happened?
Oh, no. Okay. I thought, because somebody said Tyler Hughes decommitted, but I thought, that's crazy. I thought somebody just said Tyler Hughes decommitted, but I'm like, nah, he just signed. But anyway, what's next? Grambling.
Hey.
Okay. I like the quarterback pickup. I definitely like
for him to come in and hit the ground running the way that he did, to get Pac-12 kids to come and commit to Grambling tells me that Hugh Jackson is selling it. This guy was in New Orleans, bro. He was working the grounds there. He's making his rounds, and he's selling the vision of this Grambling program being an outright winner and a champion again. So the mere fact that he was able to come in and hit the ground running so quick and get those conversions tells me that this guy knows how to recruit, and he's going to be right up in there. I expect this class to be top 3.
A&M.
Alabama A&M?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to give them an A-. And the only reason I'm giving them an A- is, and I know he's got time to improve this class a little bit. They're getting a lot of help in the defensive backfield, right? They're getting all this, your people that are second level and third level. I feel like the stuff where they were really, really struggling with was up front, with their defensive line. And I just, just from a concept standpoint, if you don't get a pass rush, no matter how good your DBs are, it's going to be a problem for you. And God forbid you go up against a team that has a strong running game where your DBs are going to now have to make tackles into the open field. It's going to be an issue. So that is my only thing with that. But I like the fact that they replaced the Keel. They're going to have some competition at that quarterback position. They got a lot of skilled people coming in. I would give it an A-, but barely an A-. I want to give them an A, but I'm just pointing out the obvious.
FAMU and then Jackson State.
I would give FAMU an A-. They didn't have a whole lot of sexy picks when it came to, just the recruiting cycle, and they lost out on what's the kid name? Ples, who was from the Tallahassee area, but they still picked up some dogs on defense with the Abilene Christian standout that's coming to FAM, and the guy from Last Chance U that's coming in at the linebacker position. They got some straight dogs, and they got a kid from Arkansas State. Plus, they got a ton of offensive linemen up front. So you can see that Coach Simmons is buying into football's won in the trenches.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big deal considering how, a certain team got mollywopped in the championship game.
Last but not least, Jackson State.
You have to give Jackson State an A+. Just really, even if they just signed the one kid, Travis Hunter, I mean, you got to give them an A+.
Facts.
They got players who they were in competition with FAMU. That's a big deal. And, just across the board, they did, he's got a number of different positions that's filling. And Deion can recruit. He's proven that time and time again. You have to give him an A+. All
right, guys. Call lines are open. Once you hear the white lady, call lines is open. Please call in 516-259-9041. 516-259-9041. Listen, I'm putting the timer on y'all. I'm bringing the timer back. Let me go ahead and set this up because I ain't about to play these games with these people before I start answering calls.
There are 4 participants in the conference.
Now, Mr. Campbell and Mr. Ford are only people right now that don't get timers. All right, so I just want to give y'all the heads up. Mr. Ford and Mr. Campbell don't get timers. The rest of you Bamas, y'all get timers because y'all just be out here lollygagging, just talking about foolishness. Hold on, let me get this all set up. Boom, okay, let me get it going. Hold up. I'm giving everybody 3 minutes. All right. 3 freaking minutes. That's it. Like it and love it. If you have a good conversation, we'll pause it and we keep rocking with you. But 3 minutes. All right. 3 minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Ford. Talk to me.
Okay, listen. This is a great show, man. I'm learning so much. I just had 2 questions for Scotty and for Mr. Hemmingway. My first question is this. Who is the top head coach in HBCU football and why? My second question is, if Jackson State had entered the FCS playoff, how would they have fared? And what I mean by fared, would they have crushed their opponents? Would they have been crushed? Would they have played a great game? In your opinion, we'll start with Mr. Hemmingway since you're the oldest. So my first question is, who is the top head coach in HBCU football
currently? Mr. Ford, you talking about currently, right?
Right, I'm talking about when you put together the MEAC and the SWAC, who is the top head coach in HB? Is it Buddy Pugh? Is it Willie Simmons? Is it Deion Sanders? Is it the guy down at Southern? Who is it? And tell us why he's the #1 coach in HBC. My second question, if Jackson State had entered the FCS playoff, how would they have fared?
All right. So for me, I have to go Buddy Pugh right now as the best coach. And the reason why I say that is because Buddy Pugh over the last couple of years has had to deal with so much adversity from an administration standpoint to COVID to, I mean, it's just been unspeakable, bro. Like they were about to shut South Carolina State down. There were talks that the school was, that they were attempting to shut down, as they always talk about with HBCUs. But to deal with that level of adversity and to come out in the spring, to come out in the fall, and to put together an undefeated campaign in both the spring and the fall in the MEAC speaks volumes about what kind of coach this guy is. And they came out and won the Celebration Bowl in convincing fashion. His teams are always prepared to play offensively, defensively, special teams in all three phases. For instance, Willie Simmons is growing as a coach. I would love to put him #1 just because he's my coach. But, you know, he's grown defensively. I would say that he's grown offensively. But from a special team standpoint, that's still kind of like an issue. Connell Maynard hadn't fixed his defense for me. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a rising talent. I think Deion is in there, but none of them right now are on the level as far as like Buddy Pugh from a preparation standpoint and how he gets his teams to play at a high level from beginning to end. You always have to be prepared to play. If you beat them, you have to beat that team. So I would say Buddy Pugh is the best coach. I think that if Jackson State had gone to the playoffs, I think that Celebration Bowl was further proof that they weren't ready to go to the playoffs yet. So I think that they would have lost they would have been one and done just like everybody else. I think Shadur is an up-and-coming QB. I think maybe by year 3, Jackson State will be ready to win a couple of rounds at the FCS playoff level, but right now Shadur is not ready. I think that their offensive line play showed that they were not ready. I think that if you get a team that comes in and this is not going to allow their you know, just going to think on the level of a Buddy Pugh and beyond, you know, this is just not going to allow them to do the things that they want to do. And they don't have a running game. So the answer would be Jackson State would get mollywopped just like they did in the Celebration Bowl.
Okay, Scotty.
I can't really speak on, you know, too heavily on the coaches, I feel like, because I'm only 1 year in. So I think I'm a little biased just because I've only seen this 1 year progress. But for this year, I would definitely have to go with Buddy P as well because of the fact of how he prepared for Jackson State. It was a game plan that I've been talking about probably since week 7. You got to double team. You got to double team James Houston. You got to get to Shadur, and you got to make plays. It's just that simple. You got to make plays when it has opportunity.
And he has sent Buddy Pugh has sent so many NFL players to the pros, man, right there from South Carolina. He knows what his teams need. You know, I've seen his teams morph into different things. He's a master strategist. He's like the Bill Belichick. The South Carolina State's like the Patriots. They're very opportunistic. They wait for you to make a mistake, and then they kill you. You make a mistake, they make you pay. You make another mistake, they make you pay. Before you know it, you're down like 3 touchdowns.
So for me, it goes back to I'm always been a scheme guy. That's always been my claim to fame is like, I don't understand why you're not trying to out scheme Jackson State. They do what they do and they don't do it well. I mean, they do it well, but nobody ever really prepares for it. So I got to give Buddy Pugh for the way he schemed it up for having his coaching staff on everybody was well prepared. And it's pretty simple. If Jackson State would have went to the playoff, they would have got mollywopped. Listen, if Corey Fields could do that to you, you're telling me a Walter Payton Award nominee, a Walter Payton Award winner wouldn't have done that? he would have shredded Jackson State. Shredded Jackson State defense. So it is what it is. But that's it. That's it, Mr. Ford. That's all you got?
Wait. I just got my last question. Last night, I listened to the Blue Blood show, and Blue said that the number one decision that Deion Sanders has to make is that he has to fire the offensive line coach. He says that program cannot go forward until he fires the offensive line coach. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, Mr. Hemingway. And Scott, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And then that's good. That's all I need.
I appreciate it.
I think that would be a mistake, because what people don't count into offensive line play or in coaching staffs is continuity. And just because somebody fails one game, it's they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Now, their offensive line play has been suspect all season, if you ask me. And they have not necessarily faced a team since FAMU and that other team from Louisiana that they lost to. They did not really have to deal with that until they played Southern, I would say. It's a matter of personnel, and you have to get somebody that you have to have personnel, and you have to have scheme, and that takes time to develop that. So I'm not so quick just to fire somebody just because I just think this mentally, Jackson State going into that game, it's not like Jackson State was incapable of beating South Carolina State, because that's not the case. Jackson State had all of the personnel that they needed to beat Jackson State. The problem was they just weren't mentally prepared. They weren't physically prepared to win that game, and that's why they lost. I would say that, I wouldn't fire the offensive line coach just yet.
Let that Bama go. Let that Bama go. Like let that Bama go, bro. He hasn't done anything since the spring. If you telling me this, I want to recap. I want everybody to recap, because a lot of y'all probably don't know. Let's recap. Since the spring, they said their O-line was bad. Deion got a whole new row of recruits other than the guard, and I think the tackle is a Jackson State replacement. I think the guard and the tackle are old Jackson State players. So you've had since the spring to get this all right. You got to have some – listen, bro, I'm sorry. You have to have some continuity in the offensive line, that something should have got better. You should have changed up a scheme or something, but he needs to go. He needs to go.
But see, that's on the offensive coordinator as well, because of the plays that you're calling based off of your strength. That's a team thing. It's like, come on, you already switched your offensive coordinator your play caller in the middle of the season, right before the Alabama A&M game. And it's just about, I don't think they recognize what kind of team that they actually want to be. They kind of take what the defense gives them, but they're not necessarily dictating on a physical level in terms of consistently what they want to do from an identity standpoint. It's just kind of like, let's just wait. Let's beat you with the deep ball. You take away the deep ball threat.
It's done.
What does Jackson State have?
It's done.
And they haven't stuck with the run game long enough for them to even develop that level of identity. That speaks to patience, and it speaks to focus in terms of what they want to try to do. And I've heard Deion say on many occasions that, hey, we're not doing anything in the run game. Well, you're not running the ball. Like, why are you trying to throw the ball that many times during the game when you got a freshman QB in there?
What question is that? Why are you trying to? It's Shedeur Sanders. Do you think Shedeur gets the Jerry Rice Award winner if he don't throw the ball 20, 25 times and has stats?
Was that the goal for him to get the Jerry Rice Award?
I won't say it was the goal, but once it got going that way, it was what it was. It was what it was. Now, my thing is this. I want to see, this is what I want to see, right? I want to see if Coach Prob could transform his, if he, this is the kind of scary thing that it kind of plays with me when it comes to having a son at the quarterback position and something like that. If you get a top running back, right? And this is just my opinion. If you get a top running back, are you going to give him enough carries to see the greatness, because most times you can't give a running back 10 carries and expect for them to be great. They got to have it 15, 20 times. Are you going to take the ball out your son's hand and put it into the running back's hand? That is the question. Will your team turn into a balanced attack? Will you be able to take the ball out your son's hand and give it to the running back? That's a question. Who knows? Let me get to another caller. Hey, Coach Green, you're live.
Let me turn my volume now. All
right, timer's on.
Okay. First thing, I'm push back on you, Hemingway, when you talk about ill prepared. As a coach, that's a lie. They was prepared. They just got beat. That's the only difference. They was prepared because everybody prepares, because we prepared. As a basketball coach, we prepared and we got beat. That's why we got 2 losses out of our 14 wins. And moving on, the difference in the game was field position.
Hold on, let me ask you a question real quick. Let me stop you real quick. I paused the timer for you too. Just because you prepare does not mean they were prepared. That doesn't even make sense. You can't say that. You can't. You're saying because you were prepared that Dion was prepared. How does that make sense? You weren't in the coaching meeting.
I'm saying y'all can't say he wasn't prepared. They was prepared because you know how they practice. He don't change how he practice, so you can't really say they wasn't prepared. They just got beat.
Okay, I just wanted that comment didn't make sense, but I get what you're saying. Okay, go ahead. Timer back on.
All right. Lost my train of thought.
You have a field position. You said field position.
Field position was the thing that kicked their tail. The fumbles, the interceptions, that gave them great field position, and the kicking game of South Carolina was the biggest thing. Because the punter, I'm gonna always say it. The punter should have got at least a part of that MVP award, because he was special, and he saved a game-changing punt return when he tackled Warren. All right, move on from that. Don't sleep on Howard recruiting class. They got a nice recruiting class coming in, so don't sleep on that.
Howard?
They do.
Howard
University?
Can you hear me?
Howard University.
Yeah, he can hear you. What?
They do.
Howard.
They got Edgerrin James' son.
And they got some other 3 stars they brought in.
Who said anything about Howard?
I've been telling you about South Carolina. I pay attention to both sides. I don't just pay attention to the sweat.
Who said anything about Howard?
Hey, don't sleep.
Nobody said anything about Howard. But go ahead.
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm just saying. All right. And this is for you. And I'm gonna say it because you said something earlier about this. It's your fault that Alabama A&M got all these new defensive linemen and all that, because you said fire everybody, and they must have was listening to you, so they fired everybody, and they brought in all this defense. And every time I look up, it's a new defensive lineman and cornerback. So they fired everybody. They must have listened to you. And my final thing, you gotta give Dooley some props, because Pugh took what he did with Prairie View and enhanced it even more. And because one of the things that everybody keep on forgetting, because y'all be talking about it, they never had a running game, and the 2 teams capitalized them not having a running game, and South Carolina did it the best. The end.
All right, so let me push back on a little bit here before I let you go.
All right.
If you don't make adjustments during the game, you're not prepared. That's not prepared. Because you should have something. If I go into halftime, right? If I go into halftime and I'm seeing that, okay, they're getting behind my DBs, because they were getting behind Jackson State. Corey Fields couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So
hold up. But you got to also look at, though, all right, that 4th and 19 was big.
That was in the second half. I'm talking about the first half.
That's where all the points came.
I'm talking about the first half, going into halftime, making adjustments for the second half.
Oh. You sitting there, you keep on carpet on that, but you gotta look at everything as a whole though. But you know, I can't go back and forth right now because I know we got other callers on. I can't sit there and explain to. I know you got other callers.
No, hold on. We gonna stay on this because this don't make sense to me. If your receivers are getting burnt in press man in the first half, you're not going to come back up and get an adjustment for the second half. Make that make sense to me, Coach.
Hold up. For one,
hold up.
Other than that, now check it out. Other than the touchdown that Shaq caught, other than that touchdown he caught on C.J. Holmes, the other one that was right there, the number 28 jump ball with him, and Shaq just won it. But you also got to look at they had good field position, and all you got to do is throw it up there, and whoever win it. They've been playing man to man the whole year. It's just that Shaq won the battle at times, and that gonna happen when you play man to man. But the thing was, the offense did not have a running game, so you can't open up your offense if you don't have a running game. If you play the type of defense that South Carolina was playing, how can you open up your passing game? You don't have no running game. No running game. You one-dimensional. Now you easy to play. I hate to use it as an example. Prime example. New Orleans Saints don't have no offense, but they shut down Tom Brady.
Okay, Coach Green.
So, Shador had Happy Feet back there. They was getting to him. Happy Feet. What good quarterback will do with Happy Feet? Who gonna play well? Tom Brady.
Okay.
Look at Tom Brady last night. My New Orleans.
All right, Coach Green. Thank you. You didn't answer none of my questions, but okay. Let me see where I'm going with this next. Hey, caller, you loud. Talk to me.
Hey, man, this is your friend in the neighborhood, second generation Jackson State alum. How y'all doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself? Timer's on.
Okay, I was calling in about something completely different, but y'all have made me change my topic. Mr. Hemingway, and this I rarely disagree with Brother Hemingway, but on the thing about the Celebration Bowl, we have an empirical scientific method, right? You have two conferences. Both of those conferences have clear ways to win their conference championship. So it's not like myth making, it's not opinion, it's not subjective. We know what you have to do to win the SWAC. We know what you have to do to win the MEAC. So that is an empirical process. The fact that Hampton and A&T and Tennessee State opt out, that doesn't make it mythological. That means they don't care about being the HBC national champion. So if they don't care, you can't on the one hand say Hampton, North Carolina A&T, and Tennessee State don't care about being the HBCU national champions, but we got to find a way to make them inclusive in being the HBC national championship. That would be unempirical. So we have a very empirical process. South Carolina State, and I'm a Jackson State fan, South Carolina State won the Celebration Bowl. They the national champ. And the reason I say that is because there's been 3 or 4 times in the NFL that a wild card team went on a run. The 1981 Oakland Raiders, the 1998 Denver Broncos, the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. The wild card team in an empirical process went through the system, won the Super Bowl. They the number 1 team. South Carolina State went through the process. It was a systematic process. They the number 1 team. That's it.
That's ridiculous. And let me tell you why. South Carolina State lost to Alabama A&M. They got killed by FAMU. And North Carolina A&T beat them. So that's 3 HBCU losses with teams that are not concluded in a playoff process, at the end of the season. Yeah, we have a system, but the system is flawed. It's flawed. But it's screwed up.
It's their choice. Like you're making it like
no. What I'm saying is the system itself
is not there.
It's flawed. I'm gonna let you talk and then I'm gonna talk. Go ahead.
If you want to take your ball and go home, take your ball and go home. We're gonna create a system over here.
I get what you're saying. My point is the system is still flawed. If Tennessee State goes undefeated and say they beat Jackson State they beat Jackson State in the Southern Heritage game or whatever, but they don't play FAMU, and then the Celebration Bowl winner wins the championship. How are they the HBCU national champs?
Because the other team decided
you can't, because Tennessee State was not even a part of that whole discussion or process, because they were in the OVC before the Celebration Bowl even came into existence. I mean, it is what it is. I get it, and I get your train of thought. I'm just saying it's flawed. The system's flawed.
They had a chance to be in a HBCU.
They still got a chance, but my point is we're not there yet. It needs to be adjusted. That's all I'm saying. It needs to be adjusted. And I'm not saying that for FAMU's sake. I'm just saying that it needs to be adjusted.
All right, he got a question for you.
Okay,
Kofi. He got a question for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Second generation. Ask your question.
Okay. My question is this: did or did not Tennessee State have an opportunity to decide to join the SWAC or the MEAC, but chose the OVC? Did they not make they specifically said, we would rather go do this than to be in the SWAC or the MEAC? Yes or no?
It's crazy. I mean, obviously, they still have an open invitation to join the SWAC. Now, I don't, there's been so many different reasons. Mr. Ford gave a reason, all of this stuff. They had opportunity. They still got opportunity.
But did they? He's asking, but did they? They did.
They have not.
So if they decide we don't want, that's just like a team, some of those white schools that's in the FSC say, look, we want to go up to the FBS. So they decide we're going to go up to the FBS. We may still play some FCS teams, but we're going to go up to the FBS. That's not the rest of the FCS teams' fault that some teams go up to the FBS.
Okay.
So if other teams choose not to be in the system, we can't fault the system.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm gonna have to let you go. All right. Hey, let me ask you this question.
Okay.
If they opened it, because what the rumor is on the rumor mill is that they were planning on taking the MEAC out of Celebration Bowl and making it an at-large bid for every FCS team that's a HBCU team, including North Carolina, including Tennessee State. If they do that, would that then make your argument obsolete, correct? Because now they're a part of the whole process, correct?
No, well, my only problem with that is that if you do it that way, what you now don't have is a systematic process of some type of conference. Now, if you can say they can do it that way, where everybody's going to have, say, a certain amount of conference games, or you're going to have a certain amount of games against HBCUs, I might be cool with it then. But just making it at large when we're not going to say, so if you're saying the SWAC teams are going to play certain amount of SWAC schools, they're going to play certain amount of SWAC games. But other schools, if you're telling me that A&T is going to play certain amount of HBC schools, then okay, I'm cool with that. But if there's not going to be, both sides are going to play a certain amount of schools, then to me it won't be systematic, which means it won't be empirical.
This is my argument with that, right? Because the SWAC is on the come up, so I'll give them that. But if the OVC or whatever conference you're talking about, if they have a couple playoff teams in there, that's a hard schedule. You said, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they're not playing against scrubs. Just because they're not playing the HBCU teams does not mean they're playing against scrubs. So their schedule, the strength of schedule, could outweigh a lot of other teams in the MEAC that gets them in the Celebration Bowl because of the at-large bid. So you might have a 7-4 Tennessee State team that's lost to a playoff team get into the Celebration Bowl because of the strength of schedule, instead of a 9-2 or let's say a 8-2 or whatever MEAC team. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm being honest, I think that's a lot more fairer than to come up with a system that's, I still believe in the playoff system, but you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a little bit more open-ended to now, because I agree with you. I'm gonna say that I agree with what you're saying, because my issue is this. If the polls are adding Tennessee State to the HBCU national rankings, that means it matters. It does. Like, somebody counts them as a matter. They're part of the HBCU. But I agree with you on the fact of, if you've removed yourself from the system, then why should you be a part of the system? I agree with you. So there's a lot of ways you can go about. I think it's a great conversation, man. Great conversation.
Look,
that deserves further discussion.
I need to ask you a quick question. You probably did you get an email? Did you see an email that the subject heading was the difference between Hispanic, Latino, and Chicano?
Yes, I did, and I have.
That was me who sent you that email. I just wanted to make sure you got it because I was responding to the Hispanic gentleman who
that called
and was disparaging HBCUs, but I was really responding to the African American brother who said, "Well, I don't believe that person is a Hispanic because an Hispanic doesn't think that way." And I wanted to let you know in that email because as you see with the email, I couldn't have discussed that in 5 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure you got that. So
no problem.
I'll shut up and let you go.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Whoa, man, that's a great topic, man. That we're gonna have to run back on that. That's a great topic.
It's a lot to discuss, but it's layers to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just any one, because you have Tennessee State thinking one way, A&T thinking another, Hampton thinking another, and they're part of the discussion. Then every once in a while, you have a Division II team like a Tuskegee that beats an Alabama State, kills a Jackson State. And then it's kind of like, well, dog, should they be in the playoffs? And I think just monetarily, I just want to see everybody on the same level playing field. You have to be able to play along the same rules so that it's equal across the board.
All right, next caller. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me. Your timer's on.
What's going on, man?
What's good? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Israel, man. Calling from Orangeburg, South Carolina State. I already know.
Talk to me.
Okay, for one, my man, Mr. Hemingway, I'm trying to understand, right? Just because South Carolina State lost to Florida A&M in the beginning of the season, and they got North Carolina A&T, they lost because they found out in the third quarter they were going to the Celebration Bowl. I mean, that doesn't mean nothing. And you were saying something about being prepared. Coaches prepare their team and have schemes, and if this don't go right, we're going to do this. They just got out coached. They were prepared, but they weren't prepared enough,
We didn't say they were prepared. I didn't say they was prepared. Kofi
didn't say that.
No, you said that they wasn't prepared because of they should have made halftime adjustments and all that. They did make the adjustments.
What adjustments they made? Name an adjustment Jackson State made.
No, you said they were supposed to go in halftime because they was getting burnt and make changes at halftime. That's what you said.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, they did make changes. They did, but it didn't work.
What changes did they make? Tell me.
They didn't run. If you watch, they didn't run the same defense.
You lying. They went single high for the rest of the second half. What game were you watching?
I was there.
I was there. They went single high.
They was doing press at first, and then the second half they backed up off the receivers.
That's a lie. No, it's not. They did not do that. No, that's a lie. They did not go off man. If you watch the 2 touchdowns, the one to Shaq on the post corner, to the corner on CJ Holmes, that was press man on inside. If you watch the outside one with 86 in the third quarter, that was a press man pick as well. They ran a pick route. What are you smoking?
But then,
all right, let's back up there. Then they played better defense in the first half than they did the second half, correct?
I would have to say so.
10-7 at halftime, so that's no discussion. They played good defense. So what you say happened then? They didn't have to really make adjustments. All they had to do is keep doing what they was doing, correct? 10-7 halftime.
If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm watching the game. The only thing saving me at 10-7 was that Corey Fields couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Because if he would have hit on any of those passes, the one to Wolverine, a couple to Shaq Davis that he underthrew, the pick that Shador did, those are big plays. The pick that Shador got, the pick that Shiloh had, gosh darn, the kid was flying and he underthrew the ball and Shiloh undercutted it. What are we talking about?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So if this dude can't hit the side of a barn, then we'll keep doing what we doing because he can't throw, correct? Or if you're a defensive coordinator, that's what you would think. Clearly, that's common sense. He can't throw, so keep doing what you're doing. He done threw a couple of picks. Keep doing what you're doing. What you saying? What you saying is up. What I'm trying to figure out.
Your time is up, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you go. This is the only adjustment I would have went, right? And I get your logic, and it makes sense, right? I'll give you that. It does make sense because you're having success with it. They're not, and the only reason they score is because they got a short field. So I agree with you. Right. But the deep plays that were coming available, I would have had to go too high. I would have had to go too high just to stop the deep play and keep everything in front of us. Because we're with Jackson State, as long as everything's in front of Jackson State, they are a very dangerous team. Go ahead, Kofi.
They felt that, South Carolina State didn't really challenge their defensive backs as much in the first half as they did in the second. And once Jackson State made those turnovers, just the timing routes and the timing throws that South Carolina State was able to execute just straight up burned Jackson State. Those defensive backs looked like they were in complete shock that those guys were able to do that. But those guys been doing that the whole year.
You know what? And I think, like I was speaking of adjustments, I think South Carolina State made the adjustments. They saw something, and they made adjustments to make stuff happen that they were missing.
Absolutely. Hey, appreciate the call, though. Got to let you go, man. Appreciate it. Let me see. 2961. Hey, Mr. Jones, you live.
Hey, what's going on, Scotty?
What's good? Talk to me. Hey, I'm good. Timer's on.
Man, it's going good, bro. I just want to talk, touch on a couple of topics, man.
Talk to me.
Topics. I've been listening to the show today. Y'all had some takes. I tell you what, y'all had some takes. Like I actually had to write a couple of notes down so I wouldn't waste the time. I didn't know if I was gonna be on that timer, baby. But check it out. All right, first off, I got a question. I want to end it all with a question, a humble question. But first off, the HBCU system. I believe, now this is what needs to happen, and I don't mean I believe like Jackson State. I believe that we need to just come together and literally come up with an overall understanding on what a HBCU national championship even is.
That's real.
Like what is it? Yeah, and I'm saying that because we want our schools to grow, right?
Facts.
We want our schools to grow with in population. We want our schools to grow financially. We want our schools to grow all around. And a lot of these things, like success-wise, when they're so successful, we want our black schools to go to other conferences. Correct?
Facts.
That's why I get confused, Scotty. That's why I'm confused. I'm confused because everything that we say, everything we bring up, we sit and we say that if this team does so well like North Carolina A&T did, then they'll be good enough to go to another conference. Do they give up their HBCU tag just because they want to move up? That's what I'm asking you.
No.
Go ahead,
and, just for me, what is, just defining everybody has the right to pursue life, love, and I guess the pursuit of happiness, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The problem that I had with the whole lateral move that North Carolina A&T made was their fan base was already suspect. All right? They're already suspect. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? At the end of the day,
what do you mean by that?
You play the game because you want to make money. You want to drive revenue.
He said, what did you mean by that?
Now A&T fans are in a situation where they're playing teams that they're not familiar with, teams that they really don't necessarily want to see. Their attendance went down, as a result, as opposed to playing teams that they're used to playing where homecoming wasn't even packed. And for me, that's like a win when it's supposed to be the greatest homecoming on earth in your stadium and it isn't even packed.
Hold on.
From a revenue standpoint.
Hold on, Kofi. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm listening to you, and I agree with you somewhat, but that comes with the territory. Why that we want to grow so bad? We want to do. I'm saying we don't want to, but that is what that looks like. It seems like the goal. Like even Deion's contract. There's a. If we move to another conference, he gets something. You get what I'm saying? That I don't understand the method of that while still trying to keep your HBCU-ness. You see what I'm saying? It's a slippery slope that I'm kind of getting lost on because everybody wants to, like North Carolina A&T. Yes, they lost all the greatest homecoming on earth that they had. Why? Because they're not playing black schools no more. They don't have nobody to look forward to. Them black people don't know who on their schedule. They don't know nothing about nothing they playing.
Monmouth.
And they not excited. And it's only and for that school particularly, it's only gonna get worse. But what did they gain? Because all I see is they lost a lot of their personal HBCU pride. Because I used to see North Carolina A&T all over my timeline, and now they don't even have their quote unquote HBCU can't win a national championship tag anymore. Correct?
Yeah, it's all about the direction of where your program and your department, but it's something that needs to be discussed that hasn't been discussed yet. And everybody, just bringing everybody together, bringing people together to get on the same page is not as easy as it sounds. It's just
I understand.
It's an interesting topic, and it's going to be an ongoing discussion because the system right now, the way that it is kind of flawed.
And that's the thing, and that's the only thing I question you on what you said. The system is flawed. I disagree with you saying the system is flawed because there would first have to be an official system in place. There was no official system in place. I can go back every 5 years or every 10 years, and there's somebody that's telling me that some other school was the Black National Championship based off their 8-game schedule. Am I lying?
No.
Look, based off of
constantly changing.
That they probably didn't have the same level of competition. And over the time, because of popularity, let's be real, only because of popularity, certain news networks, certain HBCU networks, certain outlets decided to wake up and have a writer or a beat writer to say, I'm going to dub them a national championship. There was no system. There was just a lot of football going on, random good teams showing out, don't even know who they really played. I'm going to say schedule-wise, strength of schedule, but based on the number of wins, they given titles of national championships. Now, I agree that South Carolina deserves to be crowned something. You know what I'm saying?
Celebration Bowl champions.
Yeah, crown something. This national championship thing, it's hard for me to call them national champions when you literally lost 5 games and most of them are against HBCUs. That's kind of tough for me. But if we're basing off a championship game and the championship game award is the national championship, if that's the award for the game, then okay, they won that game, so they won that award of national championship for that game. But we don't have an overall understanding for any conference on what a HBCU national championship dictates how we put it together. Because even the last caller was saying, I think you even mentioned if
gotta wrap it up.
Scotty,
gotta wrap it up.
You, Scotty.
Gotta wrap it up.
Okay. Well, just moving forward. I did want to say next year, what team do you think will have the biggest turnaround, or what 2 teams in the SWAC will have the biggest turnaround?
I'm gonna ask you a question and let you go.
I asked you, and I'm gonna let you go.
I appreciate it. What 2 teams will have the biggest turnaround, Kofi? What you got?
I don't know necessarily turning around. I would say that Valley is definitely trending up, and Texas Southern is also trending up. So those would be the teams that I would look to be the dark horse teams in the SWAC that have an opportunity to shake some trees.
I got Grambling and Valley. All right. The G-Men and Valley. You know who's going to take a downturn? The real estate agent. He ain't even asked me that, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose the Magic City Classic. I'm going to be there again, and you're going to lose. All right? So, yeah, that's the downturn team. All right, next up, let me get to, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, let me, 1481. Oh, Ricky, where you go, Ricky? Oh, he must have got off the call. Okay, next time you call back in, Rick, I got you. Hey, caller, you loud, talk to me. Hey, caller, you loud, talk to me.
What's going on, man?
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
South Carolina. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Hand Dog from South Carolina.
Talk to me.
Hey, I went to South Carolina State. I was at the game. We did our thing. The boys played hard-nosed.
disciplined football. Truth be told, I was even on the hiring committee as a former player back in 2002 that hired Buddy Pugh.
Uh-oh.
The team is a quote-unquote classic Buddy Pugh team, physical, tough, and discipline. Keyword discipline. To me, watching the game with a lot of former players, it really came down to discipline. I saw Shedeur, big Shedeur fan. Couldn't root for him for this game. But hey, he was doing some backdoor escapes. We didn't really understand why he didn't step up in the pocket a couple of times. But I think it really had to do with the fact that, I hate to say it, offensive line not really that great. There's a lot of question marks and the reasons why. I wonder who makes the calls. You know, because I'm a former offensive lineman, played center. Usually centers make the calls or the quarterback makes the calls. I don't know. You got to talk to the OC about that.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before you get going. I pause the timer for you. And I'm glad you said that you're a former offensive lineman. As a former offensive lineman, in your opinion, what did you see in that game that you was like, I wouldn't have done that, or they need to do that better as a former offensive lineman?
For who?
For Jackson State.
Jackson State? Yeah. Actually, I'm going to shock you. I think Jackson State's offensive line, if I had to give them a grade, probably did 80%. I think half of the pressures on Shedeur were quarterback calls. Because earlier in the season, he was stepping up in the pocket. And I've been following Jackson State because, hey, a high tide raises all boats. And I love what Deion is doing. And he was stepping up in the pocket, you know, eyes upfield, nothing there, get down, slide or something. But this game, he was doing a lot of backdoor escapes a la Russell Wilson. And he didn't really have a reason to. And when you do that, sometimes it makes the blocking look worse than what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I like that.
Because all our guys did was rush forward. And then every now and again, we started sneaking up and getting a little bit more aggressive as the game started getting out of hand in the second half. Now, I'm going to push back on something that you said with one of the callers.
Go ahead.
You were getting on the stage and he said, hey, they didn't make no adjustments. No, they made some adjustments. You said they went single high. Right, they did. That was the adjustment.
It wasn't.
Why did they do that? Because the run game was kicking off, and they said, shit, we got to stop this.
Negative. Have you watched Jackson State all year? Negative. Have you watched Jackson State all year?
I have.
That's their scheme.
I've been paying attention. I watch you all the time.
That's their scheme. They run single high all the time. They either leave Shedeur up top.
No. I get you. I get that. But first half, that's not necessarily what they were doing. They brought the kid number 12. I think he played with Shedeur.
He's a strong safety in the box.
Bringing him.
They always do that.
Yeah, they'll bring. Let me finish. They were bringing them in the box and then dropping them back last second on the snap. Good, trying to disguise the coverage. All right. Now, once Flowers got popping off and number 27 got popping off, they said, screw this. We're going to stop the run. They said, look, their athlete can't beat our athletes. And that, in turn, was what killed.
Can I ask you a question?
Turnovers,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is popping off to you? Because I didn't see any popping off. What is pop? I mean, like, okay. What is popping off to you? Because if I can pull up your stats right now, y'all went for like both of your running backs were under probably like 60 yards. What do you explain me what popping off is?
Oh, when my man had the big run, they gassed him a couple of times with some big runs.
That was in the second half.
Instead of running,
they had a big first half run.
Which one?
That was first half. That was first half.
That one in the first half, one in the second.
Because I'm sitting in the stand, sitting next to my dog Kenny Bynum. Mr. Kofi, you probably know who Kenny Bynum is.
I do. I don't like Mr. Bynum.
And we're sitting there looking at each other like, man, we need to go back to Coach J ball. Coach J said we don't pass on I-95 because we were running the ball on them like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you what happened. The coaches went in there and they said, look, y'all got to stop this run. Y'all got to stop this run. The fumble, Shedeur holds it like a loaf of bread. He's been doing that all year. They said that's a fluke. They got a short field, scored a touchdown. Got it. They said, we got to stop this run. If we don't stop the run, it's going to be a long day.
Sir.
And
Sir.
so they brought the man down instead of dropping him back on the snap. They kept him in there. They said, hey,
Sir. No, ain't no hold on, sir. You did not pass the 50 until like the back half of the second quarter. What are you talking about by popping off? If it wasn't for your punter, you wouldn't even been in this game. The game should have been 21-0 at half. Explain to me what popping off is, because I don't understand what game you was watching. You didn't cross the 50 until like, what are we talking about?
Hey, I appreciate you getting loud, getting excited. You know, do what you need to do to get your show going. I support you still. But he got some good long runs there. Trust me. He got a couple of runs. And then, first down, we were running for 4 or 5 yards. Then all of a sudden, passing 2 times.
Let me ask you this. I got a question. Real quick.
One statement.
All right. So, if Buddy Pugh retires, who's next in line at South Carolina State?
We don't know. That's the question. That's been the question for the past 5 years. That's real talk.
Gotcha.
Hey, don't know. It's the same issue as a lot of schools. Do you go with somebody from the outside or do you hire within? You know, the cool thing about Coach Pugh is he's a South Carolina State alum. My dad actually played football back with him in the 70s. But he won some state championships at Fairfield Central, and then he was the running backs coach at USC. And so that means something. So he was ingratiated with the local coaches within the area, as well as the other college coaches within the area. Because guess what? You only got so many scholarships to go around, and they're going to be some high-quality players and sleeper players that are going to fall off the train that don't pick up them scholarships. And guess what? South Carolina State, we scoop them up. We groom them, we train them right, and them boys end up going to the league, a.k.a. Darius Leonard.
Hey, appreciate. Hey, what was your last point that you wanted to make before I let you go? You said you wanted to finish your last statement.
Oh, yeah. One last thing. You were right about the punter. I went down to the sideline. I said, man, who in the hell is this punter that we got? I said, bro, he should be the MVP.
Facts.
I said, he's my man Newman from scoring. He was able to turn the field a couple of times. And guess what we didn't do, which is something smart. And I don't know what's up with the SWAT coaches, but that's Buddy Pugh. He's a smart coach. He's been doing this for a long time. He's a Coach J protege. Did he kick it to their
Negative.
Return? Not at all. He said, hell no. I'll give it to you on the fucking 35 before I give him a chance.
That was the smartest thing he probably did that's one of the smartest things he did all game too. But hey, man, appreciate the call though. Man, listen, bro. I'm sorry. Listen. People gotta start explaining what popping off means. Because what popping off means to me is like you getting loose. Like, you know, like how Stafford was at Alcorn. Like he could not be stopped every time he touched the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like the boy from Texas Southern who went for like 170-something yards against, like that's popping off. Flowers was 10 carries for 45 yards, and they did not cross the 50 until like mid-second quarter. What game are you watching? I know a lot of y'all like, Scotty, why are you over-talking? Bro, we're not, I'm at the game. What game was he watching? The punter was the MVP of the first half. Point blank, period. God almighty. Man, people gonna have to start explaining their logic or something. Man, I be getting confused out here in these.
It's all good. He had a nice little breakdown, though. He had a nice little run there, though.
Jesus.
He had a little run there. Remember to like and share, people. Like and share. Man.
How ranking versus
hey,
overall.
Hey, Q, you live. Talk to us.
Hey, what's good, man? I'm gonna make a comment, then after a question for you guys to answer. Get back on topic. Is the HBCU, is Florida A&M the HBCU national champions? Let's take it back from not before the playoffs, before the BCS, when the AP the press used to actually decide the national champions. If if you had to choose between a 9-2 FAMU, a 11-2 JSU, and a 6-3 South Carolina State, we removed all the FBS team losses, and those are the records: 9-2, 11-2, and 6-3.
It'll be 11-1.
And you got
Jackson State would be 11-1 if you remove the UL.
sorry,
Yeah, 11-1.
11-1.
You're good.
So yeah, 11-1. Describe FAMU 9-2, JSU 11-1, South Carolina State 6-3, and JSU has the head-to-head versus FAMU. There has been teams that have lost bowl games and won a national championship, like the 1960 Minnesota. So if you guys had to make that call out of those three teams, who do you think has the Black College national champion?
All right, we're gonna answer your question, Q. We're gonna let you go.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, man, no problem. Oh, that's a tough one. Jesus Christ. Go ahead, Kofi. You can take it. You always want to talk first. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, the shade. All right. So, I'm a rattler. Like I said before, I believe FAMU had the better team, straight up. And the way that they handle South Carolina State, you do not beat a South Carolina State team the way that FAMU did on a consistent. I mean, and that's the second year in a row. I mean, it was not close. It really should have been a shutout. But we had some penalties on that last drive. So there's no way that I could say that South Carolina State was better than FAMU. There's no way that I'm going to say that now. Jackson State won by one game after FAMU being off for one game. I believe 600 days. I believe that if they played later in the season, FAMU would have won that game. So for me, it's FAMU. But it's hard to deny, just the fact that Jackson State did win. So it's kind of like up in the air. There's no way to kind of like just objectively do it without, because I'm an on the field, beat you type of person. And if you don't win on the field, then it is. But you got this scenario where it's a split. So I would say it's a co-national championship.
I would go with the co-national championship of Jackson State and South Carolina State. I would do that. I'm glad you threw that out there because I wasn't even thinking it. But since you threw it out there, I would take it.
I went first.
There you go. I love it. That's that brain be thinking. Yeah, I'll take the co-national champions. I'll take Jackson State and South Carolina State as co-national champions because of the fact that Jackson State did beat y'all. South Carolina State lost to y'all. So I would definitely take the co-national champions of Jackson State and South Carolina State. I'll take that. I like that. Whoo, thank you. Whoo, that saved me from the comments. Whoo, that saved me from some comments. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to us. Your timer's on.
Hey, what's good, Scotty? What's good, Mr. Hemingway?
What's up?
I called in last night. I was calling about FAMU, and I was trying to figure out. I had a couple questions for y'all. All right. Scotty, you've been saying for the past couple of days that that Deion, he's a good coach, but as far as making adjustments throughout the game, he just doesn't make them. And I agree with what you've been saying. I just wanted to kind of get your take on that, and also about FAMU and how their season went. We lost the Jackson State the first game of the season, but I felt like FAMU they got springboarded from that game and went on their 8-game winning streak after that. And do you think that we would beat them if we played them again?
All right, so let me help you out. There's really nothing. You really much repeated what I said back to me. Like you said, Deion don't make adjustments. What do you think? Deion don't make adjustments. That's what I think about that. Ain't nothing to say. You just threw back out what I said. What do I think? He don't make adjustments.
Scotty, so I also pulled up Shador's stats. So I got a question for you about this.
What's up?
How are your Walter Payton finalists and you go 8 for 16 against Prairie View? He completed 8 of 16 and only passed for 85 yards. Then last game,
he went 16 for 36.
I gotta push back on you. Gotta push.
So why are people? I feel
Gotta
like
push back on you.
fans are delusional.
No, they're not. No, see, you think I be on y'all side sometimes, but I be objective. It is a regular season award. It is not a postseason award. All right. Now, do you expect him to have high? Do you have high expectations for him in the postseason? Absolutely. But it's a regular season award. He won it fair and square in the regular season. So it is what it is, because there's a lot of people that win the MVP in basketball and then they get beat in the playoffs, right? Then everybody's like, see, I told you he shouldn't have been MVP. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give him his credit. He played a hell of a regular season. They gave him the regular season award. The only thing that I would put, the only thing I do agree with, he should have not have got Offensive Player of the Year. I'm not going to say who said that. Blue said he should have, but I agree. I agree. He should not have been Offensive Player of the Year.
If you take out that Alabama A&M win with the 61 points, Jackson State only averaged 24 points per game, and that's not even including like if there was any turnovers or scores by the defense or special teams. So, I mean, the offense all year has been pretty pedestrian at best. And I think Saturday it was just exposed and brought to light.
Hey, no problem. Any other questions, man?
Who is your dark horse winner for next year?
Ooh, hey, appreciate the call though. Oh man, I'm gonna go first this one, Kofi, because my dark. I hate doing stuff like this real early, man. Oh man, I'm gonna give you a dark horse now, but then I'm a jump once the new year comes. It don't matter. All right, I get to say a mulligan. My dark horse is fam. That's my dark horse. Is it really a dark horse though? Is it really a dark horse? I mean, I think they're a favorite. A dark horse. Like dark, like you don't see it coming. Valley, it can't
but
get no.
At this point,
Valley.
do you really not see Valley coming?
It's still Valley. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's still Valley. I'm sorry. I love me some Valley, but it's still Valley at the end of the day. It is. Let me get to a member real quick, Mr. Reese. Hey, Mr. Reese, you live. Timer's on.
Hey, Scotty and Mr. Hemmingway. I just wanted to make two comments. So first about the Black National Championship.
Your background.
Okay, I'll turn it down.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so let me say this. I will bring up a point about FAMU beating South Carolina State. FAMU did have South Carolina State at home. So I guess I would have asked myself the question, if JSU had South Carolina State at home, would the results have been different, and would they have beat them as bad as FAM would have beat them? I would just like to add that caveat to it.
That's not a bad point.
Jackson State played them in a neutral site where FAMU had them at home. So I will say that. And as far as the game, Jackson State did what you had been talking about all year, Scotty. It's just that South Carolina State was a team that was able to take advantage. I mean, you've been hollering all year. Won't nobody block. I'm Houston. I mean, everything you said. So Fairview had an opportunity. Fairview was in the same position as South Carolina State. Southern was in the same position as South Carolina State. Texas Southern was in the same position as South Carolina State. Alcorn was in the same position as South Carolina State. 4 teams were in striking distance of Jackson State. And South Carolina just took advantage of the opportunity. So it's not. So in a way, it's not a surprise what happened to Jackson State, because that could have easily happened during the year in 3 or 4 different occasions. I mean, they got out by their chin against Southern. And like you said, against Texas Southern, against Fairview, if the quarterback just can make a throw, if he make the same throws that South Carolina State quarterback made, JSU already got a loss.
Facts.
So, and then we got Fairview and South Carolina State playing in the Celebration Bowl. So I just want to bring up those 2 points about, FAMU did get them at home. And I think that's a big difference, and I think that matters. Since y'all have told me that FAMU crowd really impacts the game.
It does.
So, at home. So I would just add that.
Hey, man, appreciate the call, Mr. Reese. That's actually not a bad point. I like that. That's real.
That's real. And at the same time, here's the deal. Like, FAMU had not beaten South Carolina State at home under Buddy Pugh. Since Buddy Pugh has been the coach, South Carolina State had won every time in Tallahassee. In overtime, during the regular game. I mean, Buddy Pugh has been a nightmare for FAMU in every which way. It wasn't until Coach Simmons got here that we were able to turn it around and win the last two. So we were able to win at Orangeburg and win in Bragg. And then next year's game is going to be in Orangeburg. And I think that, the good thing about this whole discussion over the national title should bode well for attendance when FAMU heads to Orangeburg next year. And I think it's going to be good for HBCU football because South Carolina State is going to have a stick, and so is FAMU. So it's going to be a big game.
That's facts. Hey, listen, there's over 15 people in the call lines. Listen, if you would like to skip the line, but you're not a member, please super chat $20, all right? And put your last four in the chat while you super chat it. Super chat $20 and put your last four in there, and you will skip the line. You'll be the next person up, all right? It's 15 people in the call. If you want to wait, if you want to be free, you just got to wait on the lines. If you want to super chat, skip the line, it's $20, all right? Too easy. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
What's going on, Scotty?
What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from? Timer's on.
Quentin. Okay, that's fine. Quentin from Baton Rouge. Went to Alcorn along. I just want to call about the HBCU, championship. I don't believe nobody care about it. I believe people want to make up about it, but I believe the real thing is, how can the SWAC move up to be D1? I think that'll probably be the best solution. I believe the 1AA playoffs, not that great of a system monetarily. So I didn't see FAM being a good candidate to go do that anyway. So I think the thought is, if the SWAC did move up and it was able to get Tennessee State and Morehouse to join the SWAC and then move up at that thing, what bowl games would y'all want to see them playing? Because I believe it'll be more bowl games they'll get invited to. It's just besides the Celebration Bowl. I think we still keep the Celebration Bowl, but you can get in those other bowl games.
It would more than likely be against a conference that is within the region so that our fans would travel. So you're looking at us probably, and here's the one thing about HBCUs that they have over your conference USAs and your Sun Belts and stuff like this. Like, any HBCU can actually go up to a place like Detroit where they have a bowl game, or go into a place like St. Louis where they have a bowl. Do they have a bowl game in St. Louis? Anyway, they got a bowl game in Detroit. I would say more than likely, though, you would see an HBCU bowl game against another conference like Conference USA, where we have a history against your Troy States and those schools, or possibly a bowl game within the state of Florida, where the fans more than likely would travel.
And about to say, I count about 6 bowl games that I think if the SWAC moved up to D1 that they should be able to get into: Birmingham Bowl, the Mobile, the Linda Bowl, New Orleans Bowl, the Shreveport
Liberty
Bowl, and then you count the ones in Florida and Memphis. That still give you almost about 6 bowl games, and that's almost half the league if they was above 6 wins. So
right, gotta have at least 6.
And you get more scholarship players. So I don't understand why we even kick around the idea of the 1AA playoffs. And I think we all got the same problem. And the last thing I'll leave you with, and just a question, the problem is the ADs, because they don't sell it. We just don't sell enough tickets outside of homecoming for most of it. Even Jackson State, if you take away the SWAC championship, Alcorn, and homecoming, what were the other big games? Besides, I guess Southern. But Southern was at Southern. So I'm trying to figure out where the fans at if they're not at the big games.
Well,
and they I think the 80s are not selling tickets.
Hey, appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call.
Well, to go up to FCS, understanding what the requirements are, there has to be an upgrade in our facilities. The stadiums need to be able to seat at least 30,000. You need to be able to average at least 15,000 a game. And from an infrastructure standpoint, we're not there yet as a conference. Right now, the schools that really take football seriously are Jackson State, FAMU, Southern, and I would like to say Grambling, but everybody else is kind of like almost, Alcorn, but everybody else is kind of like, I want to say a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. As much as I want to put Alabama State in that category, facility-wise, they are there. But infrastructure-wise and politically and all the stuff that they do, it just doesn't make any sense. Just take even, for instance, this whole Prairie View hire thing and what's going on with that. You know, for me, I'm kind of like, what is taking so long to find a freaking coach? You know, and if you're taking your program seriously, your alumni, everybody is involved. This thing is really pushing. By now, with all of this stuff, bro, this stuff should have been done. It seems like it's cut and dry, but they're proving right now that they just it's not there yet. And we have a little bit ways to go, but I would say that you can look for the SWAC as part of McClellan's master plan. You can look for the SWAC to move up sooner rather than later, provided that our HBCUs within the SWAC structure and conference get their weight up and do it a little bit better. All right, I'm done.
Oh, man. All right, let me take a caller. Hey, Deputy Mario, you live. The timer's on. It's on you.
All right, I got 3 minutes. Hey, appreciate y'all for letting me get on the show.
No problem.
Scotty, here's my speculation and my opinion.
Okay.
True enough, South Carolina State beat Jackson State, and I would declare them the HBCU national champions because they straight up beat us head to head. But also, too, Buddy Pugh is a great coach. I mean, he did a phenomenal job, too, preparing. But also this. South Carolina State had almost 3 weeks to a month to prepare for Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
And with that type of time, you could beat anybody. And so that was just my thing about it. I mean, he had more than enough time. Jackson State had 2 weeks to prepare for them, but if you had a month to prepare for them. So that's my take of it. But still, hats off to South Carolina State. They had a hell of a game. They hit hard. They were just monstrous all over the field. So they won fair and square. It is what it is. James Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. Hey, James Buster Douglas was better that day. So you can't take nothing from them. If you want to beat the man, you got to beat the man. So they beat the man, so the champions they are.
That is facts.
Let me say this about that whole little game. Jackson State knew that South Carolina State was going to win the freaking MEAC for weeks. So why they weren't prepared or looking at tape is beyond me. I think that that just goes back. They had just as much time to prepare for this game as South Carolina State did. South Carolina State freaking won the spring championship. So why they weren't one of the top 3 teams within that conference that, you know, Dion and his staff were looking at is beyond me. And they had just as much time, if not more time, to prepare. I'm not buying all of that time to prepare foolishness.
Yeah. So South Carolina State is in my opinion, still number 1. And until someone can come along and beat them and knock them off their high seat, they're still the number 1 HBCU because they won a Celebration Bowl. Scott, I appreciate you, and I'm still working on my getting my membership back together, man. And it was a pleasure seeing y'all at the game.
Hey, no problem. You too, Deputy Mario. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me see where I'm going next. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
Yes, good evening, Scotty.
Well, good evening. You're live. Your timer is starting now. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Thank you. It's Deanna. I'm here in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I want to say I appreciate you in this script because this is the first year that I've watched any of the HBCUs like I have.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a tremendous platform, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
The first thing I'd like to, absolutely. The next thing I'd like to say is congratulations to South Carolina State University because they whooped that ass. They put a whooping on JSU, which I do commend Coach Prime and what he's done thus far. And it has just been extremely exciting to watch. I will say, in all of the comments from the gentlemen that have been calling, it's very insightful. And one thing Mr. Hemingway had said last week when he said, don't sleep on South Carolina State, don't sleep on them, he was absolutely correct. I think also that the pressure that's been put on Shedeur is unfair. He is a Sanders, will always be a Sanders, and will remain a Sanders, but he's a freshman. It's his first year in college, and the expectation that has been placed upon this young man, give him some grace. His father is Prime, he's Shedeur. So quit, or individuals should stop having an expectation that he should be just like his father. As far as the pressure he gets from his father to be great, that's encouraging, but he also has to realize he's his own individual. He has a great circle around him from Tom Brady, who flopped yesterday. And people make mistakes, and hopefully he's been taught to learn from his mistakes and grow. He's a young man. He has a great future ahead of him, and I wish him the best. And as far as this whole thing on preparedness, South Carolina State's coach prepared his team tremendously. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, prepared his team to look good, to feel good, but they lost focus. So preparedness and preparation is key. And I think I'm almost out of time, but these young men have been given a tremendous opportunity, and hopefully they will recognize, appreciate it, thank God for it, and go HBCU.
Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate you, Miss D.
I appreciate that. It would also help Shedeur if he wouldn't open his mouth so fast and talk so much noise. You know, if he would just go with just a little bit more humility when he's addressing the press, it's all right to be confident, but that measure of humility will go a long way to you gaining fans and gaining also mercy. But the mere fact that he kind of came across and was kind of like saying some of the stuff that he said, you know, I think it just adds to the heat. You know, it just brings, just like when LeBron went down to Miami and was like, not just one, not just two, not just three, you know, just went on with that. You know, yeah, they were good, but it just invited the wrong type of heat.
Yeah.
What a heat.
Yeah.
So,
you know, and once again, thank you, Miss D, for watching the platform. I appreciate
thank you so much.
But, you know, listen, Deion and them said, don't let our confidence mess up your insecurity. That's what it's something around those lines. That's what he said. Don't let our confidence mess up your insecurity, right? So if you're a confident young man, confidently take this ass whooping. Like that's it. Confidently take your ass whooping. That's all it is, man. I'm sorry. It's just, you know.
There's no way around that one. I mean, obviously they had to take that. You know, I think obviously next year going into the fall, he's going to have to answer a lot of questions surrounding that whole South Carolina State game. That game's going to be that press conference. That's going to be questioned probably number 1, 2. So what did you do, you know, in the offseason, you know, to prepare? How did you handle the loss to South Carolina State? You know, how have you grown? You know, all those different things like that. You know, all of that stuff.
He said, don't let our confidence offend your insecurity. That's a bar. I do love that line though. That's dope.
It's great. It's dope.
It's dope. It's dope. It just didn't work in the celebration bowl. Hey, what's up, Mr. Campbell? You live? Talk to us.
What's going on, my brothers? What's going on? First of all, I gotta say, don't we just love when women call in, you know, with that nice, beautiful voice, and then they come with that straight shade right after that. Straight shade, man. Straight shade. Come right with it.
It tastes so good going down.
I love it. So they kill it. Hey man, look, I want to.
There you go.
Find them in the building. I'm fine.
Yeah, you kind of going in and out just a little bit, but go ahead. You good now? You good now?
Okay. All right. So, man, listen, I want to talk about a couple of quick things about this national championship, Black National Championship. Okay, for all my millennials, all my new folks, the Black National Championship has always been mythical. It's always been voted on. So when you hear FAMU, me and Kofi saying that FAMU got 15 Black National Championships, that's because somebody voted on it, other than the one we won in 1978 back in the day. So let's be clear. Same thing with Jackson State when they named. I think Jackson State got 5, 6, 7, or Grambling with their 17, 18. So this has always been the system, folks. So let's not get caught up like, oh, I can't believe it. It's been like this forever. So I want to clear that up because I think we got a lot of new people that do not know that this has always been voted on and somebody in the end does it. Now, I'm a Rattler, but I want to talk about this NCAA thing. Rattlers, please read the article that this guy wrote. This is not something that said we're the national champions. This was a topic from a guy from Carnegie Mellon. I'm not going for that. Rattlers don't roll like that. I'm not going to take no cheap, especially we lost to Jackson State on the field. See, I'm a real player. You play me, I play you. Jackson State beat us. I don't give a damn if it's 1 point or 100. We lost. Take the L, and then we see y'all last in Miami. Guess what? JSU, you had a chance to make history. You went to your ass to Atlanta, and I can't beat. Take the L. South Carolina State won the thing. Now, I know people might not like it, but here's the thing. We never had this problem with the first 5 championships because North Carolina A&T and Grambling were worthy champions. They won it. They closed the deal. Jackson State didn't finish the assignment. If they finished the assignment like Kofi said, we wouldn't have this problem. So this is a JSU thing. This ain't, hey, we need to do all this because I'm just going to tell you, we got too many things, as Kofi pointed out. We got 3 major schools that are non-HBCU conference. We've got lower level divisions like Bowie and other schools. We're never going to be able to put them in there. So it's never going to be clean, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know that. Now, what's great about this show, we get to call in, talk our ish and all that, but it's never going to be clean. And I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to be able to switch stuff around because of to that SWAC championship to make money. That knocked out a whole week right there. Well, 2 weeks, really. That knocked it out. So until the SWAC says we're not going to have a SWAC championship, which they're not going to do, then we're going to have this debate. So next year, guess what? South Carolina State might run the table. And what they come into the Celebration Bowl 9-1. And Jackson State or FAMU come in there like they did 10-1. Nobody would even say anything. So this is one of those things. It got funky. And this is where actually it used to be in where you used to have the bowls locked in to certain conferences. And so that you would not get 1 or 2 playing. That's why you would have a split national right now. Then I'm gonna jump off because I hear you guys talking a lot about why. A lot of people know I'm a big Miami. I know a lot of people Miami. I used to be Miami, and I would ask defensive coaches because Miami used to play. All they would play was man cover 2. That's how Ed Reed got famous. And the thing about it is these people want Jackson State to change on the fly. You're not going to change on the fly. If you got that put in, you can't go tell guys to play zone. That's not what Jackson State does. They play man to man. That's what they do. So I know you want to go in there and say, hey, let's go and do cover. That's not what they practice all year. And with college kids, it is hard for them to get 1 concept down, not 2 concepts, bro. So that's what it is. So, man, like I said, I just want to see what you guys got to say about that.
I appreciate the call, Mr. Campbell. I don't know what he. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I heard.
Sounded like he was going down with the ship a little bit.
I heard the first half, but I didn't hear the second half. So
like Jaws attacked the ship or something. They was going underwater.
That was pretty bad. Next, hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
All right. First of all, thank you. This is a great show. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Mr. Kofi. I'm really enjoying the content. So I have 2 things to say. First of all, Shador talked about how, you know, with the A&M game that, you know, he made his daddy, when anybody mess with his daddy or whatever, talk about his daddy, he kind of go buck wild. So my question is, why did somebody from JSU send a fake nasty letter acting like it was South Carolina State, and then they would have got a great performance out of Shador? I mean, Dr. Andy, he been saying that for the past 2 weeks. Just send a nasty letter about Dion and would have got everything you wanted out of Shador.
Don't talk about my daddy. Don't talk about my daddy.
That's right. And my second thing is, My second thing is I heard the post conference, and Dion, and one of the questions they asked him was, did he know that the MEAC had beat, I believe, SWAC for I think 6 years, if I'm saying it right.
5-1.
And he kind of 5-1. Well, he kind of blew it off and was like, well, I didn't, I didn't really pay attention to it. That's not something I was even knew. Well, that there tells me right there, you were not prepared, because the coach do all their research and they would have known that, and they would have said, wow, this MEAC is not playing. We got to get our stuff together. So for you to blow that off, you were not prepared, and your coaching staff was not prepared either. Thank you.
Mic drop. God, got some bombs on that one. You ain't prepared.
These women folk is on fire tonight.
The coaches ain't prepared. Your mama ain't prepared. Ain't none of nobody prepared.
I want my daddy's records.
Yo, she came in with the fire, boy. I love it. I love it, Miss D. Thank you so much. Man, that was tough. Hey, caller, you live, talk to me. Timer's on.
Yo, what's going on? This Chris from Charlotte. As you say, Greg, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Hi there. So, got two really quick things. Okay, so one, if anyway, I want to indulge you on a question you asked earlier about who do you think should be the next SC State head coach. My money's on the current defensive coordinator, Jonathan Saxon. He's doing a great job there, and he's a product of Orangeburg, product of SC State. And I think he really earned it with that Celebration Bowl victory. The person who should take his place would be Devontae Holloman, her current head coach of South Point High School, played at USC with Jadavian Clowney and Stephon Gilmore. But that's besides the point. The other point I wanted to make, you brought up something about this Celebration Bowl with that open slot. How do you feel about another bowl game on the same weekend of SWAC championship, because the MEAC will be done by that time, where you place the winner of the MEAC versus the FCS HBCU with the best record at that point?
Hold on. Why? What would be the point of that?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, if you're saying you want to give these other schools an option to play in and get into the other school and get into the Celebration Bowl, I feel like the MEAC still has a claim to that spot. And I feel like, one, that's a ad revenue game right there that gives schools more money, more opportunity to play later on in the season, more time, more TV time and things like that. Plus, it helps build the hype for the Celebration Bowl as well.
Okay, so
because, you got more fan bases into the game.
Based off the schedule, based off the records now, who would have been in your make-believe bowl? Just give me who you would have put in the bowl.
Would have been, I would be South Carolina State and A&T again.
South Carolina State and what?
And A&T.
Why?
Sorry, my voice is still on.
Or how?
Like, why would that, like, how did they get into that bowl? Like, make sense.
South Carolina State and A&T already played.
Yeah, they already played, but I'm saying in that, I'm just asking just a scenario of sorts. Just how would, that would be a way of getting another school an opportunity to say, hey, we got in on this merit.
So are you taking, this is what I'm trying to say. Are you taking the Celebration Bowl away, or are you adding another, if you're adding so now you're just adding another bowl. Hold on. You're adding another bowl. Then what about the MEAC champion? Where do they go?
No, I'm saying the MEAC champion plays in that bowl game.
For what?
The winner of the MEAC versus the FCS team with the best schedule. And whoever wins that goes to play the winner of the SWAC in the Celebration Bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying now. So a playoff system.
A play-in game, essentially, yeah.
I kind of like it because it's more football, but I don't. Why are we throwing North Carolina A&T in it? Like that's my only thing. Like, why are we playing North? Why would it be? Why them?
Well, you said who had the best record based off of this season, and the team, I guess, who had the best record, if I'm not mistaken, was A&T. If not A&T, was Tennessee State.
Okay, I just want to get.
But I'm saying,
go ahead.
which other FCS school who doesn't play in either of these two conferences, whoever has the best schedule will play the winner of the MEAC, and then whoever wins that game plays the winner of the SWAC and Celebration Bowl.
Got you. So a play-in game for the MEAC and whoever in the Celebration Bowl while the SWAC championship is going on. Got you. Okay. I mean, it's not crazy, but I get what you're saying. Anything you have any questions for him, Kofi?
That whole A&T thing, I get what he was saying in the concept, and I kind of like it where maybe your second place team plays the MEAC champ at their place for an opportunity to play in the Celebration Bowl, which this year would have been FAMU.
It always comes back to FAMU for you. Always come back to FAMU. Boy, wow.
There you go.
Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you, man.
Hey, no, appreciate the call, man. Real talk. Let me see. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to me.
What up, man? It's Dr. Love from ATL, man.
What's up, Doc? Talk to me.
Hey, man, it's for the Jackson State fans, man. Y'all got to stop being so sensitive, man. Officer, he doing a podcast, man. He ain't got no loyalty to no certain team, man. If any team that should be mad is UAPB and Gremlin. He dogged the hell out of Gremlin, trash bag. And he be, I don't even want to tell you what he talk about PB. Them two teams should be mad. These JSU fans, man, just like you said, it ain't fun when the rapper got the gun. They wasn't on Twitter. They wasn't on Facebook. Man, you can hear rap peeing on carpet, bro.
Look, it driving so funny.
Huh? Hey, man, I'm just saying, if any team that should be mad is Gremlin and UAPB, because y'all be doing them wrong. All right, bro, that's all I got to say. J-State fans, stop being so damn sensitive, man.
Look, everybody's sensitive, man. Everybody's sensitive when you start talking about or speaking truth about their school. Now, I'm going to tell you, really, this whole thing, really, with this whole championship, a lot of this came as the backdrop between FAMU fans and Jackson State fans. So the Jackson State fans went off on FAMU talking about, you embarrassed us in the FCS playoffs. Y'all didn't even win around. Y'all just went out there and got embarrassed. Well, it wouldn't have been an issue if South Carolina State was not throwing Jackson State.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
All over the field, man.
Let me get to these last two callers. Something is wrong with you. Oh my God.
All right. No, but seriously.
Hold on.
We was ready to take our little L. We was ready to take it until, Jackson State people started getting thrown all over the field. So one of the dudes in the stands was taking the video, was going down talking about, hey, Jackson State, y'all still believe? Y'all still Y'all still believe? Y'all look so sad, man. Y'all still believe? Girl, they look so sad. They look so sad. And it was an Alcorn State fan that was up there. She was just kiki and caca. But this, look, FAMU, we love to troll. And if you fight us and you put us in that battle where we just have to defend it, we'll defend it to a fault. We are not going to admit that we are wrong, especially when it comes to a North Carolina A&T or Jackson State. We'll just fight it all the way to a great or a Southern University. We'll just go all the way there. We will never shut up until we actually win the battle or whatever. That's just the way we are. We just crazy like that. And then we'll get 10 to 15 people that just pile on just for the sake of it. It don't mean no harm. We just doing it out of fun. We know who the champion is. All right, going on.
All right, go ahead, caller. You live. Timer's on.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Talk to me.
What's up, Mr. Kofi?
Yo.
Yeah, I can agree with y'all from, my inside. Jackson State wasn't prepared for that. I can tell by, the conversations that they had slept on South Carolina State. And the fact that Buddy Pugh had a month to go over a game plan. What he did was just take everybody plays that worked against Jackson State. You're welcome, and use it against them.
I'm not buying that just because, again, South Carolina State won the freaking MEAC in the spring. So Deion and them had all year to plan or have a game plan in place for South Carolina State. Then you saw that they had already
They had a
wrapped
game
up.
plan, but it wasn't the same offense that they ran. I can tell you.
Bro, they've been throwing the ball all year.
Running games. They don't go twins and go counter to the left. That's what Alabama State did against Jackson State, and that's where Alabama State had their success. They ran that play like 5 times in the first half and like 3 times in the second half. When they would twin flat and they was throwing it fade to Shaq Davis, that's the same plays that Prairie was running against them.
Bruh, here's the deal. The game turned on Shadur's turnovers. That's what turned the game.
Yesterday.
The fumble right before the half.
I know that.
The interception that he threw, the 2 interceptions that he had, that's what turned the game. It wasn't anything. It was like, boom, South Carolina State. And then, that whole 30-19. But again, the turnovers turned the game. Shadur turned the ball over 3 times, and that was the difference in the game. Punter this, punter that, all that great. Boom. Shadur's turnovers put South Carolina State in scoring position 3 times.
Sir, I went over that. You should have listened to Scotty's show yesterday. Me and Scotty had a whole debate about that. I understand that. That's why I told Scotty, if them 21 points ain't come off of turnovers, it's a different ball game. I understand that.
The turnovers are part of playoff ball. That's why they have a turnover differential, +1, +2. JSU was -2. You don't win big games or championship games with a -2 unless you're just that much more superior. So it just is what it is. I think that
I'm a football guy, Mr. Kofi. I understand that, but I'm just saying, I know firsthand that JSU wasn't ready for what happened. I'm not just an ordinary caller. I got like a real close connect to the program. I know that they wasn't that prepared. From phone conversations and seeing body language from one of the players of JSU. I know when I see it. I know that the scheme that they ran was just something different from what they had practiced. I'm telling you that. I'm just agreeing with y'all that JSU is not prepared for this game.
Well,
you can tell that we'll have JSU ever got flagged for too many people on the field. They wasn't ready. When have you ever seen them late getting off of the ball for the snap? You never seen it. They was not prepared.
Whose fault is that?
That's coaching. And I can't elaborate on coaching because every time I say something about a coaches, my contact gets in trouble. So I'm not going to talk about coaching.
Well, I'll talk about it. It's, Deion should have taken the blame for this L, instead of putting on those boys. But if you value your press conference more than you do your preparation, you're gonna get exactly what you got.
I know, and that's why I just can't wait to. Well, to me, Scotty will tell you I always got a conspiracy theory, but this loss was more to gain than JSU winning the Celebration Bowl because now he got something to pitch to these recruits. He can pitch this to get more money from these boosters. So this L is like a victory for JSU, no matter which way you look at it. And I'll take y'all comments. I'm about to get off this phone right quick, and I want y'all to comment on that.
All right, appreciate the call. Hey, if you're on the call line and your last 4 is not 0477, you can hang up. All right, that's the last caller for the night. If your last 4 is not 0477, you can hang up. All right. I don't think that, listen, Deion's whole mystique is winning. Deion will never want to lose anything to get like that. Listen, man, that has nothing to do with the Deion brand. Deion's brand has always and will always be about winning. All right. Losing does not. He didn't even care about his son making second team. He's like, nobody cares about the second team. Don't let anybody go that far to the second team. So if he cares about that with an award, you think he care about that's not him. That's not his brand. That's not what he believes in. He is about winning. All right. Winning. Go ahead, Kof.
I mean, there's nothing else really. Nothing else really to say. It's obvious that they weren't ready for these guys. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. 31-10, 21 points.
Man, I gave them 13 and they still couldn't even get that. Dang, I feel bad. All right, last caller. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to us. You the last caller.
Hey, enjoy the show, guys.
Hey, appreciate it.
So just the fact of this situation out with the playoffs. Okay, so if FAMU would have won 2 games, right, in the playoffs, then still the winner of the Celebration Bowl would have been the Black National Champs. Just stretch it out. Don't say FAMU. Pick another team. A&T would have won the NCAA National Championship on our level. Then they still the winner of the Celebration Bowl would have been the champion. That don't even make sense to me, right? And coming back, when you look back in the day, when you had, because they just started doing playoffs in Division I. So back in the day, all these bowls, if Nebraska, who was a super team back in the day, got beat by one of these lower teams, and another team who was ranked number 2 wasn't playing the number 1 team, that didn't make the team that beat number one. This whole concept, just because you played in the Celebration Bowl, that makes you the champ.
Okay,
that doesn't even make sense.
Okay, man, listen. If loss was a picture, it would be my face right now. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So if a player, I'm taking FAMU out of it because I know you're a FAMU guy. I know Kofi's a FAMU guy. Let's say A&M gets into the playoffs. They win 2 playoff games, right? They win the first round and the second round. They get to the third round, they lose.
Right.
And Jackson State wins the Celebration Bowl. Let's say Jackson State wins the Celebration Bowl.
Right.
Who's the national champion?
You said it would be FAMU. That's what you said.
No. He said Alabama A&M. If Alabama A&M.
No. I'm not talking about today. I'm not talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I said, listen to what I said, though. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said the season.
Right.
I said the season would have been better than Jackson State's because of the competition that you would have played in the playoffs. I'm giving you the question of who would you crown as the national champion. It's not a question to me. I'm throwing it back at you.
Okay, yeah. So I definitely, if you did the playoffs and you won 2 games, say you're in the semifinals, right? Then I would definitely put you above the winner of the Celebration Bowl. Doesn't that make sense?
Only if Alabama A&M is not losing 65-18.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Only if Alabama A&M is not losing 65-18, where they're clearly Jackson State was the better team. Even if Alabama A&M wins a couple of rounds in the playoffs, say they were to go to the playoffs this year, say they had beaten FAMU and they found themselves in the second round of the playoff, the NCAA playoffs, and Jackson State won the Celebration Bowl. There's no way I could say that Alabama A&M was better just simply because Jackson State beat Alabama A&M to sleep on their home field by over 40 points.
No. I'm not. Give them the same situation. change the names, right? So instead of FAMU having the 9-2 record and losing to Jackson State by 1, say it was Alabama A&M.
What's
you still feel the same way?
What's the point? What are we talking
He's
about?
just saying that the system is flawed. The system is flawed.
My point is the Celebration Bowl, saying that the winner of the Celebration Bowl is the Black National Champion is flawed. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, listen. If your sorry ass team couldn't make it to the Celebration Bowl, then that's on your sorry ass team. If they want to crown a national champion off the Celebration Bowl, then your team need to take his ass to the Celebration Bowl and win it. It's just that simple. Until it's fixed, until all the stuff is regarded or whatever, until that happens, take your sorry ass team to the Celebration Bowl, win the actual thing like Grambling, and we don't even have this discussion. Until then, it's flawed. We all know it's flawed. I'm so done with the hypotheticals.
Okay, but my situation, if you don't admit it and fix it, then you can't move on, right? If we just continue to say a 6-5 team can win the national because they had a better team or a better day, then the system is, and it's gonna stay flawed.
Listen, if a 7-9 team can make it into the playoffs and win and go to a Super Bowl run, a 6-5 team can take their ass to the Celebration Bowl, beat an 11-2 team, and claim to be champions. You win, you play the game.
But that's not the same thing, right?
It is because in this case.
One in the NFL, you play teams twice. Teams in your conference, you play them twice, right? What would have never made the playoffs,
sir?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter. They did what they had to do to get to the Celebration Bowl. They went up against all the odds that everybody had them losing, except me. And they won. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give them. Listen, now we all know it's a flawed system. Go ahead.
Right. No, I'm not taking anything away from South Carolina State. I'm not taking anything away from them. I mean, they're a tough team. Hell, man, you know they tough. I'm just saying the system is flawed. That's all I'm saying. And I'm showing an example of how it's flawed.
We all know it's flawed.
What we're saying is, go down.
We all know it's flawed. You're just repeating everything. Will we want a playoff system? Absolutely. We all want a playoff system. It's real funny how in the beginning of the season, I said the Celebration Bowl needs to be a playoff system. Everybody was, Scotty, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Shut up. We love the Celebration Bowl like it is. We love this. We love that. Now, full season come forward. Now everybody talking about, man, you know it is flawed. You know, I don't want to hear that.
No. Okay, well, check the tape. I've never said that. I said we can do the Celebration Bowl and go to the playoffs too. I never said what you just said. I never said that. Maybe somebody else, but I never said that. Like I say, check the tape. I ain't never said nothing like that. But right quick, last point. I thought South Carolina State was just more physical, and they were beating them on both sides of the ball, on both lines. So really, I thought by halftime, yeah, this game is over because they can't protect and they can't rush. Enjoy the show. Scotty, did you get your FAMU shirts?
Yeah, I got them from Miss Lori Wilson. Yeah, I got them.
Send him another one.
No, from me.
Oh no, I haven't picked them up from the. I didn't know that was from you. I got a message from my UPS box. So yeah, I'm gonna pick them up tomorrow.
All right, kid.
I appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the show.
Thank you, sir. I wonder who sent me something. Appreciate you. All right, listen. All the callers on the line, I'm sorry. That's what black people do. Y'all call in late. You know what I'm saying? Or you should have super chatted $20 and skipped the line. You didn't want to super chat, so now you're getting hung up on. That's how it works. All right. Hey, listen, man. Y'all can stop. Y'all can be either. Listen. You can either be cheap and sit your ass on the call line and then not get answered, or you could have super chatted $20, skipped the line, and then got your call answered. Either way, the phone lines is hung up. Either way, the phone lines are hung up. All right, or you can become a member, which is really cheap, which is $5. $5 a month. You could have been a member and skipped the line. Come on, man. Y'all got y'all priorities mixed up. But you know, everybody's bank account is different. Hey, you got anything to say? Y'all doing the ONG bowling zone this Wednesday? Y'all doing it?
It's the ONG strike zone on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. And yes, we are doing it.
Okay.
It's gonna be fire. We got the guy from the NCAA who wrote the article. We got Coach Simmons on this Wednesday. It's gonna be fire. So we might have to see if we can get you on too, man. I think that'll be real fire.
Man, listen, man. Y'all don't listen. First of all, I want to be very clear. If you put me on the show, those little 200 views y'all used to getting, y'all gonna get about 600-700. I'm just saying, listen.
Hey, that'll work. That'll work.
You know, my name ring bells out here, baby. You know what I mean? You know, my name ring bells. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all take out the ONG Bowling Zone on Wednesdays. Like, listen, let me ask you a question. Since y'all only talk about FAMU, that means y'all can't talk about the Celebration Bowl, right?
We talk about everything now because the season's off. So we got to talk about the Celebration Bowl because guess what? It kind of has a FAMU edge to it because somebody named FAMU #1 in the power poll. So we have to talk about that. And we have to talk about, you know, a number of different things and how we like to troll Jackson State people from time to time and the A&T people that don't matter. So, yeah, we we do that all the time. But, yeah, man, we talk about everybody. And we're in the basketball season, man, so we're looking forward.
Yeah, and thank you, Major. Kofi say that every Monday about putting Scotty. Listen, man, that's what. Listen, all your favorite channels on YouTube, they all talk about putting me on. Then they go talk to their producers, and they be like, "That black young man, nah."
It's not on me. If it was on me and Scotty be on about 5 days a week and stuff, you know. But you know, so we gonna rock with it. But one of these days, Scotty gonna be on. I'm gonna see if I can get him on Wednesday, see what we can do.
Man, listen.
And Scotty ain't doing. The problem is Scotty has a show on Wednesday. That he has like a round table or something like that. So we gotta make sure that he's free.
Yeah, you know, because me and Blue we be racking up the views. See, I need to move y'all stuff to Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Because if you compete with me on a Wednesday, I'm prime time, baby. You know what I'm saying? So don't listen. The ONG Bowling Zone is not trying to compete with me on a Wednesday. Me and Blue shut it down. Listen, me and the boy Wonder shut it down.
Man. Brother Nation got it on lock, bro. We appreciate you. You know we're gonna have you on because it's gonna be nuts.
No problem, man. Hey, let us know about some of those FAMU recruits because I know your guy on there. He's real. He talks about all y'all recruits. So
it's gonna be nuts, man. February 2nd. I can't wait to see what everybody's going to do over this month. As soon as Prairie View gets a coach, man, I'm looking forward to that because that's gonna affect a lot of stuff within the SWAC universe.
Yeah, it will. It's going to definitely get some movers and shakers. But hey, guys, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yeah, I'm watching. He said, "Yeah, I'm watching Script of the Boy Wonder." Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Listen, I got some stuff coming up this week, and so I need y'all to stay tuned. You know how I do. I shoot from the hip, so make sure you got your notification bell on. You subscribe. Make sure you go check out the ONG Strike Zone on Wednesday. All right, and until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holler. God bless.
Love you.